Oh my God. Okay. Oh, I think it's working.
Good job. Outstanding. Pushing through it. Meeting is now streaming live on custom live streaming. So I'm not sure if you're live in regards to your. But I don't know if you're
Yeah,
not.
we're on YouTube.
Oh, we are.
Yep. Hold on. Let me make
Oh,
sure.
cool.
Okay.
So then I think from there you got to.
Well, I'm not, but you're not showing up on there. Oh, it's because you're not on camera.
Yeah. Oh
Wait,
well.
but it should, I don't have you hidden. I don't know why you're hidden on there.
No, I'm coming on. I'm just looking at
No,
something.
but you're still not showing up on YouTube, which is what I'm saying.
Oh, none of us are showing up on YouTube.
No, me and Snork are, but you aren't, even though I went on to Zoom and you should be on there.
Oh,
Okay. Let's see if it's working now.
don't know.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't have it set up to where it's hiding non-video participants. Anyway, hello everybody. We're gonna do the 155th anniversary celebration for West Virginia's for West Virginia Day today. And I thought we'd start off with, we've got a few things that we're going to talk about, like we're doing like a little presentation on this water project, and then get into some other stuff. And then I'm going to open it up for everybody to join in and we can all talk. So let me make sure everything is good to go. Is the sound good, everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay.
I can hear.
All right. So, okay, let's talk water project. We're still trying to get it up and going.
Hi, am I on? Hi, everybody. It's James with Monotop.
Okay, are we good to start?
Yeah, I think. Are
Okay.
you streaming live? I don't know.
Yeah, we're live. We're on YouTube.
Oh, that's cool. Let's see.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
so where are we at? Let's start there.
We're at the 155th anniversary of West Virginia. Such a badass place. What did they say about that? It's like it's a it's a very rich place with such a poor. I mean, that's not good to talk about, but it's kind of a poor area or something, or it's just such a so vibrant, so alive, and it's so beautiful and everything in West Virginia. But yet, there's the things are just really different. Not it's not like Anaheim, California. I can tell you that. It's just different, but it's nice.
No, I mean, yeah, we're very different, I guess. I don't know. I want to start off with this water project so far. So, okay, so what we're trying to do is figure out a way to get clean water to people here. And that includes filtering water filter project. Snort, do you want to tell them more about it?
Sure. Basically, a lot of organizations that pollute like to say that there's nothing that can be done with the water. And government argues on and on. Well, we can't do anything. We can't afford it. It's not possible. And we just wanted to prove that it is possible. That we would go in, and for the houses that cannot afford the proper filtration, that we provide filtration for water in their kitchen with technology that's on the market, tried and true, but 95% of the US population cannot afford it. So we have people doing GoFundMes to buy a sculpture of President Trump in Antarctica. We have people doing huge GoFundMes for all kinds of frivolous issues.
Mm-hmm.
And what we thought we'd do is a GoFundMe for actually setting up an operation to teach the people about what's in their water and provide them with water filtration. And again, this is for the people who can't afford it. West Virginia is a state that, and other states, when there's a disaster, one of the first things that pours in is bottled water. And I believe I'm correct in saying that in the last time that there was the poison in the water, that it couldn't be drank for 600 miles, that West Virginia was not brought water to drink. Is that correct?
There was a little bit of water that they gave out, but it was not very much and not very long.
And people need a
and
lot.
A lot of people that lived out, out very, way up in these hollers and stuff, they didn't get water at all.
Right. And another thing is, if
anything.
it's locally distributed, it might be put in town. Some people can't afford to go into town every day. And it's a tragedy. And so what we're doing is saying the water pollution is at several points, and this has not been really brought up well within Michigan, that trying to solve it at the municipality and trying to measure the cleanliness at the point where they filter the water downtown doesn't do people any good at their houses, because a lot of the contaminants come after the water treatment plant. And a lot of the really bad contaminants happen between the faucet and the water plant. So when you read the water report, you're reading a report basically of what the water is like at the municipal treatment center. Some EPA sites will go out and do samplings of 100 houses in the area and report that. Well, the contaminants at the area along the Kanawha River actually could kill babies. These are ones that can irritate skin, raise blisters, poisonous, cause all kinds of issues. And these aren't just the chemicals from coal mines. That was a majority of that release, I believe 2 years ago, was from something to wash the coal so that the dust doesn't fall off the train cars as it rides through towns. But it puts all of the contaminants into the water system of the people along the Kanawha River. So their concentrations of it are bad. And this was, like I said, if you drank it, you'd have possible death because it would raise welts inside your mouth. There was a secondary chemical. This is a case where, okay, I'm going to quickly admit to the bad chemical so that you don't ask me questions about the other chemicals in the water. So the reporters quickly reported about the MCHM. That's an abbreviation for a large chemical that I cannot remember or pronounce. And so the other chemicals I'm actually more concerned about. These are chemicals for making chewing gum and able to keep its flavor for many, many hours. Old chewing gum, you used to chew it for 5 minutes and it was completely flavorless. By adding some chemicals to it, they were able to trick the mouth. But when the person takes this off chewing gum, they're getting it at an extremely diluted amount. When it comes into the river, it's not that way anymore. So they're getting a full dose of it close by, and you can't have it. These spills can happen at day or night. People that get up and take a drink of water at night, get up in the middle of the night, especially to make baby formula, don't always turn on the radio and say, is my water safe first? or by the time it's on the news, they might have already given up and made the baby the formula. Because when they start screaming, you need to get
a lot of times, even if you do have the radio on, it's not going to do any good. It'll come out like a month or two later about how there was some spill that happened, and you just have to say, "Oh, well, I wonder what it was that I gave my children to drink or to bathe in." You know,
Yeah,
I hope
and
that doesn't
sometimes
kill them. You know, a little late for that.
sometimes it's a year later and it's a postcard that people might not even realize the significance, or it might be posted on a wall downtown at the water treatment facility, so the people don't see it. They don't see it in time. A lot of houses have leads in their pipe. One of the issues with Michigan is that they attempted to put cleaner water. A lot of nasty chemicals have to be added to water to prevent lead from wearing off your pipes as it goes into your house and through your house and whatever pipes. When Michigan stopped putting that in their pipes, the lead actually wasn't coming from the municipal water supply. It was coming from the people's house because it no longer had this chemical added to it. So what we're proposing is that we bypass the complete system that would take 10, 15, 20 years to completely change out all the system. So what we're saying is just go ahead and keep on pumping the water as it is. Do your best to clean out what you can at the city, and then we will clean it at the sink for the people to use. Now, this is going to be a small project, so unless people really donate a lot, we only plan on fixing the water for drinking and cooking, because that's less than a couple of gallons per person per day. So, but that means that these people to drink or cook don't have to go to the get bottles at any local place. They don't have to worry about, it's a Sunday, I can't go buy water bottles. And believe it or not,
transportation is a huge problem when it comes to the availability of clean drinking water. I mean, you can get at a reasonable price, but the problem is so many people. It takes you 30 minutes to get to a store. We have a massive elderly.
I've got an internet glitch.
Yeah, there's a freeze. She's frozen.
Okay, I should keep on talking.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Right. So the people need to have the water available. They need to have the water available all the time. And they need to understand what's in the water. There are many water filters on the market. There are different types of systems. Many systems are not appropriate for towns like West Virginia or Flint, Michigan. There's these pitchers you can put in the refrigerator. And there are two types. One is a granulated activated carbon, GAC. It's not bad. It'll take off bad smells and flavors. But that's about what it does. It absorbs the bad smells and flavors, and things like lead or these other special chemicals will get left in the water. Then some, like the Brita filter, have an extra, what's called exchange in it, where they'll take and bind in molecules of some things, and they will reduce the amount of lead that's in the water. The main thing is reduce is the word, not eliminate. Well, actually, nothing eliminates, but let's say significant enough to make a difference. No, they don't. They will take out filters. People claim that it leaves the calcium in. Calcium comes out early. So they do remove a large portion of the calcium or the necessary minerals, and leave you with some of the bad ones. So those aren't really able of handling the types of contaminants that are in the water from the Kanawha River. So the main contaminants in the water at the times where these coal mining or Dow Chemicals, other chemical companies, large manufacturers of the worst reputations are right there in that area. So of the other materials, when those aren't having a leak, which is, I don't know how rare, when they're not having a leak, you still need to get out coliform bacteria. and there are suspended solids in the water in this area, which are basically a technical term for animal waste and debris, decaying leaves or whatever. But a lot of coliform, which means pretty much E. coli like bacteria in the water, has to be taken out. So this has to get taken out before people get it, especially if there's any type of sickness in the area. You don't need one more thing like coming through your water. So there's another kind of water filter. It's called reverse osmosis. It has a filter on it. Is it okay if I share a little video?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
I had one up here a second ago.
And see, this is why I'm really excited about this, because this could really make a huge difference in people's lives here. I mean, in their health, in their quality of life. I mean, this is really great news.
Okay. Are you seeing?
I wanted to add to that real quick. So what's important here is to know that the water quality, not just here, but even where I was at in Anaheim, is crappy. But this would be like the test market in a sense, or where we would go to raise the level of the quality of water for everyone, which nobody has out there. Nobody has that. There's so many cities. If you go to EWG water test, just type that in, it'll bring you to EWG, this place where it checks every city, every zip code, test your own water. The biggest problem out there right now is there are so many cities and states, just the country itself. The water quality is terrible. So this would be a great place to start that. And if you have legislators and judiciaries and executives out there that supported having clean water, no matter whatever it took, so you don't have to go to the store like I do to buy bottled water, then you could start, you can actually feel very comfortable about drinking clean and fresh water.
Yeah, and if it's okay, if I have time left tonight, I'll cover what special things we have to do for California, because California is actually going to be tougher than Michigan or West Virginia.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of the water is so precious there. Are you seeing a red dot with 2 white dots and 2 green dots?
Yes, we are.
I would like to explain what water is. And sorry if I get rudimentary here, because I know we have listeners of all different backgrounds. And so I need to put this on a loop. Let's see here. So you should be seeing little green dots floating around the red. And why can't I get this to go on continuous play? Well, anyway, an oxygen molecule has a bunch of electrons on it, which I represent by the green dots. And hydrogen have 1 each. Now, atoms like to have either 2 electrons or no electrons in their outer orbit. And I haven't shown the other electrons on the red one will be oxygen. And the 2 white ones will be hydrogen atoms, and the 2 greens are electrons. And so the 3 of them share 2 electrons to satisfy their balances. Hydrogen wants to either get rid of or acquire another electron to make it feel balanced, because but when it gives away its electron to oxygen, it's suddenly positively charged and it wants it back really bad. So it constantly alternates between giving away its electron and taking it. And then their electrons hate each other. So when they come together, they both want to go away from each other really badly. So this becomes a really great symbiosis between the atoms. That's a wonderful thing about water. was either way you look at it, it's one hydrogen atom and then a group consisting of a hydrogen atom and an oxygen. So 1 second it's paired with the one, and the next second it's paired with the other. And they just kind of do this dance where they keep trading off, giving the electron to the other friend and then taking it back because they feel like suddenly they're electronless. So when it's together, the oxygen feels like it has all 8 of its electrons. And when it does, it has too many and it has a negative charge. And the first thing it wants to do is get rid of 2. And this plays on billions of times per second in every water molecule in your body. And as you get feeling warmer, they actually vibrate more and more. But there's this perfect amount of time when that can line up and just squirt through a really tiny hole that's just big enough for that oxygen to get through. Because whatever an oxygen can squeeze through, the 2 hydrogens can go right behind it. So reverse osmosis is this membrane that you pump up to really high pressure of dirty water on one side. And water across the membrane likes to always have the same amount of pressure on both, or the same amount of electric charge on the same side. So if I put in really dirty water on one side of the membrane and really clean water on the other side, pretty soon it wants to migrate over to the other side. Reverse osmosis uses this and says, if I pump the dirty side up really, really dirty, all that clean water won't come over and overpressurize me. Instead, I'll push clean water over to the other side and keep all the dirty water on this side. And then I can flush that out. So what we would do with West Virginia is we would take 5 gallons of water and we would flush all of the clean water to one side and all of the dirty water to the other side.
What did you say that's called? That's
a molecule.
No. I know that, but you said there was a process of what that actually happens. What is that's not the reverse osmosis, but
yeah, that's reverse osmosis, the tunneling of it going through the little hole.
Where can you see it, or is it just does the separation actually happen? Can you actually see the separation?
You would not see it. You could test. You could chemically test.
I would like to see it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you could chemically test for it.
Woohoo!
Maybe you put some dye on the dirty water side and watch the other side still stay clean.
Ooh.
One of the things I would like to do is make a bunch of displays. These are expensive because when you start making burning these water pitchers, it's going to be $14 a demonstration because those water pitchers aren't cheap.
Whoa.
So what we do is show a water pitcher how much gets through and do versus a reverse osmosis. But again, if we were to take just the debris and pump it out, we would exceed EPA limits on what we're allowed to discharge. So we take the 1 gallon that we give as pure water. On the other side, we dump water that still meets EPA requirements out. Now,
that's terrible.
West Virginia.
Give it back to the people that don't want to join, right? You didn't want to come along, so here's your water.
Yeah, it would have 25% increase in the amount of debris that's in it.
Wow.
But in California, we cannot do that in California because water, every drop is precious. So we'll talk about California later. And that's what we want to do later. But first, West Virginia is within 600 miles of a large portion of the United States population. Mm-hmm. New York, Florida, all of them. It's a 600-mile drive. And more than half of the population of the United States, except for California, is out or in a radius around West Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So if we train West Virginians, we also have a place that we could bring other people. Almost everybody can reach West Virginia if you're east of the Mississippi, almost everybody can reach West Virginia with a 1-day's drive.
This is what's interesting.
The thing is, West Virginia has a lot to work with. Like, people want to say that it's a wasteland, we're poor, or there's really nothing to be offered here. But there's really a lot of promising aspects. It's just a matter of getting people in there that want to do the work and preventing, the people that are there now that are profiting off of it. They're the ones that are actually preventing all this change from happening. But the fact of the matter is we have a lot to work with. We have a lot to offer.
Yes, and if I can kind of step away from the water for a second, once we start teaching people how to make clean water, as I actually had a friend of mine that had one of the most successful water business in the United States decide to start bottling some of his water in Mexico. And you can't imagine how hard it was for him to sell bottled water that said bottled in Mexico here in the United States.
Yeah.
Well,
Tough sell.
Once we get West Virginia for having a good reputation for clean water, and we show that, hey, we can grow special foods here in West Virginia, because believe it or not, West Virginia has this wonderful climate. It's farther south than Iowa, which means it has more sun.
Just really quick, is your video done?
Oh, yeah, no, I understand. I'll unshare.
I just want to make sure we finish that before we, because this is stuff that I want to get into, because I know that
explaining how
clean drinking water is just step to
it's just
rebuild
that.
West Virginia.
and you can actually chemically build water. I can't get the chat back up.
What I was going to say real quick is that the military uses reverse osmosis, and they've been doing it for a long time. Aircraft carriers, frigates, supply ships, submarines. And what's interesting is a lot of cities and states and counties out there that need fresher water. It's almost like do they want us to be sick and ill and just not have the nutrients we want? That's just kind of weird to me. That's what I find interesting is you're going to give your fighting force great water, really good water, quality water, and then for the rest of the civilians, you're going to give them, not that great of water. It's just kind of interesting to me.
Yeah. So anyway, we're not talking about any controversial new technologies right now. What we're trying to do is get known technologies to people that should have it, just like people should have good health care. I personally, understand the standing water. Can't see why aren't we giving the people that gave us the light? When I turned on an electric light when I was a kid, that was coal.
Well, because I'm pretty sure Space Force is way more important than clean drinking water. Who needs that?
Yeah, and but anyway, so in doing this, before we go to California, we need to do some things because anytime I can do research, I'm going to want to hit more than one bird with that stone. So while we're working in West Virginia, I'm close to the center of where all of the fast food chains are for 2/3 of the United States. Right now, 500 million straws are being used per day. I would like to recycle those straws along with milk bottles, that kind of grayish plastic that's good for holding water, because water that's going to be used for flushing in a toilet doesn't have to be food grade. So I can use recycled water or recycled plastic to make tanks. Oh no.
We could use the crappy water for the flushing.
Crappy water for the flushing, exactly that. So Californians a lot of Californians spend so much on rent and in gasoline to drive just a few miles that they can't afford all kinds of tanks. There's a lot of people that need to be able to store their water to be able to flush it. So we'd also like to later on propagate this project outside of West Virginia to Michigan. I'd love to help with Michigan's problem. But
Hook Flint up,
California
bro.
actually has a worse problem than Michigan. And of course, anybody that has a state doesn't want to talk about what problems they have with their water. They want people to move there. They don't want to talk about what problems they have. They want to say that all the problems are out in Michigan and West Virginia. Our state has no problems. Come on out. The truth is, we should be actively looking everywhere.
Right.
And even 50 miles from me, there's a town with bad water that I would like to help. But we go to California. Like I said, we can make 1 gallon of water, but we have to waste 4.
For the flushing. For the flushing.
Some Californians might be responsible enough and have the money and resources to have a plumber come in and replace their toilet to use a 1 gallon flusher. But how many people flush their toilet just once a day?
People that are really constipated.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that most people need at least 3, or let's say this. Everybody needs at least 3 gallons of water for flushing per day. And a lot of people need 16. Because a lot of toilets are what they can afford in the apartment that's supplied to them by their landlord. And the landlord is not going to change it. So if they flush their toilet 4 times, they've used 12 gallons of water. Now, maximum, an average household probably is going to produce no more than 12 gallons of wastewater when they're purifying water. And so if we have a tank and a little pump to refill their toilet with the water, we're not wasting any. In fact, we're saving some, because now we're no longer putting any clean water into the toilet. We're going to call this gray water. We're only flushing the toilet with gray water. It's also okay for using on the lawn. If you actually go over your limit and you want to dump it somewhere, dump it to the lawn, because it's still under EPA limits. I just noticed the chat there. So really, if we can get some cheap tanks and cheap equipment to California, we can do it there as well. And we could probably, in the long run, end up using a lot less water than California thinks they need. We might eventually even be able to do other forms of water filtration by the time we get to California. But we don't want to do anything that doesn't work every time you push the lever. So, like, again, we want to start off with non-controversial, easy to use, prove the technology. Maybe in some states we'll shame the whole city into go out and doing it to everybody.
Yeah, we'll make everybody jealous because West Virginia's got the cleanest water on the freaking planet.
Okay, so where do we go after we've set up a recycling center for plastic to make these wonderful tanks in West Virginia? Somebody has to work those tanks machines.
Jobs.
Now, once California gets a reputation for having wonderful water in these wonderful tanks, what comes next? We have several
people.
Yeah, so people come, but we have this state that is larger than the Netherlands, which is only surpassed in food exports by the United States. The Netherlands exports more food than Canada, Brazil, Russia, France, name it. We're the only ones that beat the Netherlands. So what if we started growing food in the tanks made in West Virginia with the water made in West Virginia? And we take the foods that over the next 10 to 15 years are no longer going to be available because of climate change. And we say, we have something that needs mountains. We have this beautiful island that just lost 50% of its capability to make coffee. We're losing the inability to make coffee in Colombia. Where can we make coffee? We need these small lumpy mountains that have all kinds of fog, or we need to grow inside where we can replicate that. That's West Virginia.
Yeah. There's so much potential. I just posted in the chat real quick. All that they can grow. West Virginia is called the Category 5 area. We're in like the Category 6 or 7 area, or Category 6, I think. But what West Virginia can definitely do is, of course, I know Stevie knows this, apple trees galore, lots of grapes, lots of berries, and just tons of cherries and apricots, peaches, dwarf peaches. I mean, they have, and that is just a small list. There's tons of stuff that West Virginia can do. This is the problem with West Virginia. It's been labeled a coal city. They didn't do anything else, and it was all about coal forever. So what happened was nobody ever touched that. They didn't touch agriculture. They didn't touch so many things. If you were to go to Google Maps or Google Earth and look at West Virginia, it's got the most beautiful terrain I've ever seen. Everything's like green. I know it's super hot there right now. Is it hot there right now?
Oh yeah,
pretty hot. So
yeah, it's been in the 90s past few days.
But the cool thing about West Virginia is it's hot in the summer, and it's kind of like Texas. Dallas, Texas was the same way. Is you're going to have your winter because it snowed, right? Stevie, it snowed. So that's cool. It's good to know that, Christmas, you're going to have snow. And then in the summer, you're going to be in your pool or in the lake, having a good, hot summer. It's like the perfect climate, in my opinion, to enjoy how life works. It's cold. You can go in the snow, and they have skiing and stuff there at some of the resorts. The lakes are just fantastic. There's so much opportunity. And then you have idiots like Joe Manchin running the place, right? And governors like, who's the governor there? I forgot his name.
Jim Justice.
Jim Justice. Just just don't give a shit about any of that. They're just idiots.
Yeah, I believe that having the jobs from clean water, robot-assisted farming. Now, West Virginia is not going to need tractors. But what they can do is, there's a tech school right there in the Kanawha Valley. It'd be wonderful to teach them how to build robots, farming robots, and make all kinds of jobs where we can do all kinds of production. And one of the other crops that I was going to get to is we get a lot of our spices from India through Vietnam, that area. And both of these areas are not going to be able to produce the spices that make our food taste great anymore in the near future. So if it takes 10 to 15 years to completely ramp up to supply what they're going to lose. So we're not going to be taking the jobs away from India and Vietnam. They're going to disappear because there's now too much water in Vietnam because of the way the water misses India and hits Vietnam. And there's not enough water in India. So if we don't move and we find a proper place to grow this stuff, we're going to lose this for our food. Well, West Virginia is that place to grow it. And so I'm thinking that what we need to be thinking about in West Virginia is, where are we going to put all these people?
There's so much land out there. It's crazy.
I'm just really intrigued on the robots, farming robots, because we can actually literally have redneck engineering going on right there.
Yeah. Well, people like to think that robots take away jobs. They don't. Robots secure jobs. Now, how many people lost their jobs when tractors came about? A lot. Do we throw out tractors? No, we start using them and we flourished. So now we start thinking of robots as a tool to lever the human knowledge. So the human that's out there has time to look at the leaves and say, this one isn't getting enough light, turn up the light. This one isn't getting enough heat, turn up the heat. And he's not spending his whole day hoeing, weeding, and whatever. He's there making decisions based on the knowledge he gains about farming. And that's what humans do wonderfully. So we leave the tedious work to the robots. And I can tell you, robots, I've done large robotic factories, and it's always been one robot, 2 to 3 humans. So if a robot goes down, you're going to take 2 or 3 humans to replace their work or more. So you always have humans on staff ready to assist the robots, ready to replace them during maintenance periods. And once people get over this fear of robots taking their jobs, And although the robots will do this work, I have never seen anybody displace a human being at a lunch table during your break with a robot.
Yeah, I just feel like robots would just free us up to do human things, human things that need the human touch, like, I mean, just really anything, artistry. Like you said, I mean, we're still going to need people to build the robots, to maintain the robots, to watch them, to monitor, to be able to stand in. So, I mean, it's not the, Cylons taking over type deal.
That's what people are probably thinking. This is different. We're talking about grove maintenance, just and things like that. Nothing where you're actually
very specific tasks.
So I'm thinking the future is extremely bright for West Virginia. And as they come in, these same technologies that are used to make these are wonderful, making solar panels, multiple types of solar panels, because all solar panels are not photovoltaic. Photovoltaic is optimum primo for California because you got light, sunlight always. But there are other means of making solar power work that can work at night, that can plunder on through the nights and whatever. And West Virginia can use these. So I just want to use this as a base project to get a foothold in there and get the other projects going. And hopefully we could get them going in other states and help areas that are devastated by lack of unemployment. We have people that can't get vegetables. And that just should not be. Even if the Netherlands, with the small amount of sunlight they get, can be the number 2 producer in the world, why can't even Michigan? A lot of people don't realize how much of Europe is north of the United States. And these countries are producing food in the night, in the winter. And the United States lets so much of our land go idle so much of the year. So let's bring in these foods that we're going to lose. We start growing now. An apple tree, 7 to 8 years before it starts producing. So if it takes what we build in 5 years from now will be another 9 years before we see production. So the community has to learn, and it has to produce stuff along the way to go. First, we have to have small vegetables, stuff that can be grown in 4 to 5 days. Then we'll go on to stuff that can be grown in 36 days, then 72 days. Once we hit 72 days, we start getting really good at filling the grocery shelves, because then we can get into the green peppers, tomatoes, things like that, that normally have to be trucked across the country. Well, are truckers going to lose jobs? No, truckers are not going to lose jobs because we start doing things local, because almost every major trucking firm already has plans to eliminate the trucking jobs.
Yeah.
So
we're going to go robot.
Right. So if it's going to be a robot, we want a robot to be local and helping somebody work. Right?
That's
use
totally
robots
correct.
where we can.
So West Virginia, real quick. So West Virginia, from what I'm seeing in just my quick research, that state and the way it's put together could be pretty self-sufficient.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes, that state could be. Yeah. There is a lot they can produce. Even diesel fuel, they can make their own.
Jeez.
So they could eliminate the need for any mining. And they can even grow their own limestone.
They have they have about 2 million people there. It's pretty spread out. I'm not saying everybody go and attack West Virginia, but I'm going to say this: the freaking real estate is super inexpensive. It's like an eighth or like a quarter of, or maybe a 32nd of what it would be in California as far as real estate. It's probably about a third of what it would be for rent. If you had a work from home job, or just had a job in one of these industries that we're trying to pump up besides coal, which should definitely, go away. It's just, it's time to jump into solar. It's trying, and is there wind there a lot? Is it pretty windy there sometimes, Stevie?
I think there was some wind. What are those called? Wind turbines. Somewhere in the state, and there was like a little tiny kickback that they were getting, like as an investment. That how the government will do like a subsidy, but they just got rid of that. Surprise, surprise, with a coal baron in office.
All right, exactly. So I'm going to show this. I'm going to share the screen real quick of West Virginia compared to everywhere else, just real fast. And it's Google Earth. And this is why I find West Virginia so intriguing in that area. Because if you're looking at this map, I'm telling you right now, this area, I hate to say this, California, but we're drying up. And if you're not understanding climate change, you've got to understand that this area out here is getting drier and drier and drier. And I think that's kind of happening all over the place. So for West Virginia, in these areas, they're more north. It is going to actually be cooler in the more times out of the year than less, which is good. It's in California. There's 40 million people. West Virginia is about a quarter the size of California. But man, I'm telling you, it's crazy. And when you zoom in and you look at West Virginia, this is why this place is so wonderful. It's just so green. It's so plush. There's cool lakes. Here's Stephen lives somewhere around here, but there's just so many great places to go and visit. And the hills are wonderful. And gosh, man, are there a lot of retirees there?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I understand why.
Oh, see that town Nitro right there?
Yes.
That's another town I was considering for the water project. They've already had a time and a half with all the chemical plants through here. They've got some kind of plant down there that's constantly spewing stuff up into the air. They actually had a problem with that back during the Vietnam War, and the plant and killed a bunch of people with cancer and boils and stuff like that. So they've had a rough time of it, and so I would like to help out like a community like that. And it's a pretty small area. Not too many people live there.
Yeah, it's interesting. What's great about West Virginia is people don't know it's when you live in a megalopolis, or I guess I don't know if that's a real word, but it's if you look over here, over here, and let me just show kind of where I'm at because it freaks people out when I show them this. Okay, just hang on. So I'm over here in SoCal, right? Oh, Jesus, dude. So, wait, hold on, just a second. That's Santa Monica, Santa Barbara. Then you get down here to Los Angeles. So if you zoom into here, I'm going to just show you this area right here this little area right here is the size of Nitro. Right? That's the size of Nitro right there. But where I'm at is all this is taken up. There's houses for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 miles. It's just completely packed with people everywhere. These mountains, there's homes everywhere in all these mountains. There's really, the only space you're going to find is up the 15 where it's high desert, which is really extreme heat and extreme cold. But people are going out there too. They're going out in droves. They've got plotted parcels everywhere. This is soon. Look at this. There's nothing out here. Little house, little something. But this is soon going to be like Los Angeles. It's soon going to be like Orange County. It's soon going to be like Anaheim and the areas where I'm living at. It's It's just insane of the amount of houses. They're actually creating. They're digging into mountains where you would think you shouldn't put a building there, but they are, and they're putting these giant pylons in the ground to keep them from falling over, because over time they're going to start leaning over, which many of the old ones are, and they're just running out of space everywhere. But then you go look over here in beautiful West Virginia, where there's only 2 million people. And it's so freaking nice, and it's just so peaceful, and it's so inexpensive. And if you brought the right jobs, and if you brought the right agriculture, and if you brought the right water, and if you did this right, Justice and Manchin, you pieces of shit, people would flourish here, and people would flourish here already, the people that are here. But they'd also come probably by the droves. You'd probably have to put up like a Trump's wall to keep some of the people out once they understand how wonderful and beautiful this place is.
Yeah, I wish I would have bought some land down there before I did this video.
That's my goal. That's my
zoom
goal.
back out again.
Okay, go.
United States.
Okay.
Zoom into the point where you can see Nebraska.
Nebraska.
You don't have to go the whole state. There you go. You see the name Nebraska?
Yes.
You see the letter A?
Yes.
That's about the 99th parallel, 99th meridian of longitude.
Okay. Which is
if you back out now, back out a little bit, you'll notice that everything west of that A, within just a couple of years, is not going to be good for growing until you get past the mountains on the west coast.
Anything.
Yeah. Now, we've lost a meridian in the last 100 years. They used to say the 100th meridian was the end of where you could grow stuff. Now it's the 99th. Within 10 years, we're going to be at the 98th. Within 15, we're going to be at the 97th.
Wow. So
we're almost ready to lose parts of Missouri, Iowa, and Minnesota for farming.
And I wonder what this is turning into desert. It just looks like it is.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is arid. It's not good for growing outdoors anymore.
Right.
Without irrigation. The next thing is, as we're going to lose the ability to irrigate west of the Missouri River real soon, because the Ogallala is drying up. So everything from that yellow mark you have down there in Texas, north, and then west of that is no longer going to be able to irrigate. And we have to replace this food supply. This is a national security issue.
Should be.
We have to be able
priority.
We need to be able to get West Virginia completely up to Netherlands quality of growth. We need to be able to get Tennessee up there as well.
Well, see, this wouldn't be the first time that we've undertaken, water quality project. There's a video that I wanted to show a little bit of. It's a 21-minute video, but it's the very first part that's really eye-opening. Let me see. Share computer sound. All right.
All right. I'm going to need to leave.
When you get
What is it?
I'm going to need to leave here in just a few minutes.
Okay.
So maybe this is a good time for me to say, I'll be back later, guys. And
all right.
Thanks for letting me be on for a few minutes.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking about all this.
Yeah, awesome, Snork. Thank you very much.
Definitely appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
Later, bro.
Oh, I can't see my screen.
Down below Charleston, the canal was really a mess. When you get down below Charleston, the canal was really a mess. It actually stinks.
I don't see why they can't clean it up. After all, they have enough brains to figure out how to make those new detergents and those fancy plastics. Why can't they figure out a way to clean up their water instead of dumping all that stuff back into the canal? It's a disgrace.
Now, this river right here, I actually live just a couple miles from this island right here, this island. So and it was about maybe a mile up from this is when where the MCHM spill happened. So the Kanawha River used to be one of the most beautiful, rivers we had here, and well, we fucked it up.
Industrial wastes, the useless byproducts of useful production, animal and vegetable matter, oils, greases, acids, all kinds of complex chemicals, sometimes liquid, sometimes solid, being flushed along by the flow of liquid wastes. The typical citizen is repulsed. He says simply, the Kanawha stinks, or it's a disgrace. But it's not quite that simple for the sanitary engineer. It's his job to get rid of all that contamination, or tell the boss to shut down the plant. Somehow it's always more economical to keep the plant running and build outfall pipes like this to the river. This is the ugly end of the Charleston complex. It is a cluster of chemical manufacturing plants along the banks of the Kanawha, West Virginia. Submerged pipes draw river water into the plants. Intriguing, often secret processes take place as chemicals and synthetics are made. And then comes the great payoff. The used water is turned back into the river with a little extra bonus of contamination for good measure. In the manufacturing process, wash water carries along what it washed off. As unwanted substances are separated out, they become involved with water. And then there are drippings and droppings, samplings and spills, and leaks and leavings that are cleaned up with hose and water. Everything that can flow moves inexorably down drains, through pipes, out sluices, and tumbles into the Kanawha. Then, of course, into the Ohio. But it wasn't always like this. In 1773, George Washington wrote, "None can exceed these lands in luxuriance of soil or convenience of situation, all of them lying upon the banks of either the Ohio or the Kanawha, and abounding with fine fish and wild fowl of various kinds, and also in most excellent meadows, many of which by the bountiful hand of nature are in their present state almost fit for the scythe." Even at the close of the 19th century, Charles...
So I think that's, it goes into further detail about how they were, I think this was back in the 60s that was made. But yeah, they had to go through a whole thing about getting it all cleaned up and stuff. So we did it once before. We can do it again.
There you go. That's the spirit. Yeah, so some of the chemicals that they use now are hidden. And I know Snork knows this, is that it comes out cleaner, but it still has the same bad effects. Mm-hmm. And that also happens in the air as well. When they say clean coal, no, it's not. It looks cleaner, it smells cleaner, but it still has the same reaction to the environment and your health. So a lot of it has been disguised more so than anything, but it's still the same effect.
Okay, so what I want to do is there's share with everybody for like a year now, and I've got to go take care of some stuff. So I'm just going to put this video up, let it play. It's a bit heavy, but yeah, this is one of the videos that really opened my eyes about like everything that's going on here, the corruptness of the politicians, and just how basically how they manipulate people to for their own benefit. And it's not just a thing that happens here, but you can to insert any state. So and it's kind of like a little warning, like, this is where we're all headed. Yeah. If we don't.
Can you remember to make the screen big, please?
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you.
It's called Rich Land, Poor People. Let me see if I can.
That's what I was trying to say earlier. That's, oh, God. When I first started, anyway.
Was the volume okay on the?
Yeah, you're sharing the volume. Everything's fine. I can hear it.
Okay. Let me bring it back.
The live chat's good. Let me check
All
those
right,
out.
and I'll be back later. Okay.
Fight the good fight every moment. That's Triumph. Triumph, by the way, it's a great band.
The following program is from NET, the Public Television Network.
Appalachia, how sweet the sound that falls upon the ear. All those who love Kentucky soil and holds that state so dear. It's people working far away, and those who love to roam are homesick for Appalachia, Kentucky, home, sweet home.
I think one of the beautiful things I've ever saw is in the fall of the year when I look on the technique of the mountains and see the beauty of all of the different colors of the trees. And I'm riding along with people, I say, look yonder. Yonder's the most beautiful scene that I've ever saw. I see the technic color of the mountains. We wonder how long it'll last. We wonder how long we can hold our peace. We wonder how long we can sit and look and watch the greediness of people for an almighty dollar come in and destroy all things that was created for man. And they were coming in from the far corners of America. And they're taken out. They're taken out of our county and our state. They're taking out the things that God provided and put forth for us. They've taken it out, and they're leaving us nothing. They're leaving us nothing.
Coal is the king. Pike County is the largest coal-producing county in the world now.
In Kentucky last year, there was
$4,598,179 annually to Kentucky.
That's the only thing we have, and if the outsiders would leave us alone, we're not having any trouble with the people here.
Yeah, man, it's awful crowded. Oh, well, I couldn't have lived here if I hadn't have sold my electric stove and television and things. I just wouldn't have had no room for it.
What did you get for what you sold?
I sold the electric stove for $25 and sold the TV and the antenna and the wire was with it. I guess it's 200 foot of wire for $20. I let my bookcase go for $10, shotgun for $10. Practically give it away.
How long is it? You still have some of that money left?
No. Mm-mm. No, I paid. Okay, I paid 16.
This is Frank Collins. He's 38, lived in the mountains all his life. He has 3 children and a sick and pregnant wife. He doesn't have a job.
And the bookcase, I sold it. Bought a bite to eat with it. Took the one over to the hospital for checkup. And then nothing left out of hit. An electric stove for $25 got out of hit. I bought gas and moved up here, most of it. Bought a little grub too. There was nothing left out of hit. I don't know what I'll do now till the first of the month till I get my stamps. After I get hit, why, carry me through for a while.
He worked the mines until they mechanized. Then, like thousands of others, he was thrown out of work. Some men went to the city to look for a job or go on relief. And since 1950, the region's population has decreased by 350,000. But an estimated 1.5 million more people, many like Collins, remain. There are no exact figures on the number of poor, but they're estimated around 50%, and maybe more. Many of them are old and disabled, but many others, like Collins, are able to work but have no skills except mining.
Then I do now. See, rent $15. I haven't lived in a big 6-room house down then. Income tax $270, Social Security $558, lights $8. The store $122.70. I made $154 and broke even with them.
No, you broke even?
Yeah, never got a dime. Just paid my debt. But I have made good money down there at Hot Spot Dance.
Now it's all mechanized though.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Why is it gone?
And it takes everything you make to live. And your folks are young, and your wife's sick. And I didn't have no hospital card then. That's what I could rake and scrape. She was down 3 months down there, and her father had to take her to the hospital once. I didn't have the money to take her.
Could you work in the mines now and make any money?
Live at it, but I couldn't save nothing.
But you couldn't get paid like you used to.
After you get a job in a big machine mine, like Scotia down here or something, where you have experienced man, you can make good money. I think they pay somewhere from $25 up to $30 a shift. All depends on the job you're doing. That continuous miner, I think it pays $30. I don't know. Shell car runs from about 25, something like that.
That's pretty hard to get into though.
Yeah, it is. Actually, you can't hardly do it unless you're experienced and somebody knows you. About the only way.
See, that's what we call the good old boy system. Somebody has to know you. In order for you to get a job, somebody has to know you. So, we'll hire, so-and-so's kid because he's a good old boy. We know him. If you just don't know these people, you don't get the jobs. And I think that happens, a lot of places.
Looks like there's nothing here no way for nobody. Starvation's all. And you can't find work. Now that's out. It sure is. We've just lived this best way we can since August. When Frank and let quit that deputy. They're gonna put me on a disabled check, over here. They never did come around, because I was disabled to do anything. Frank had to take care of me, Never did come around, so we just let it go.
Yeah, I think we've done pretty good, though.
Yeah, in a way, we have.
Hey, Dad. And then
But I wished I could left Kentucky altogether where I could actually got a good job. I sure do. If my wife gets well, I'll go. I'll find out. Yeah. there's nothing here no more at all, unless you do have some kind of trailer or something of your own that you can live at. You just take me now. I don't own nothing, got no job or nothing. It's hard to live.
And this thing was setting in when I first watched this, because I've heard so many people say this today. You know, the mines are closed or they're closing down. People don't have the training. There's, you know, the other fields that are here are very specific and you have to go to school for it. And how are you going to go to school and still, you know, it's a huge problem. And I'm like, well, this is something they were dealing with, you know, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. So it's still the same thing, different century.
Took a scoop.
It's a very pretty picture.
I'm fat. I was fat then, now I'm not.
What'd you do when you got out of...
I just stayed home, work. Had it over now, though I went on. See, now I made a mistake.
Why'd you quit?
Hey, I was too mean to go. I just wouldn't go on. She went plumb soon, went to 8th grade and then graduated to high school and went to half semester of high school. And then got married. And she went for 8 years. She never missed a day in Neville's life.
Huh.
If I could just done that, I'd been okay.
On that woman's face, you know, I mean, she's sick, she's got her babies there, she's, you know, they're in a bad place, you know, economically, they're selling, you know, their stove out of their house, all this, and just, you know, just pain. These people's lives are just pain. And this has been the way of life for 60, at least this right here is documentation of at least 60 years. Now it goes way, way back before that, but just to have the video, just the footage is shocking.
I went 300 hours one place, got one of these, and 300 another and got one.
That's great.
And I started in high school over here and went 2 nights on the W&T program and quit and went to vocational school.
I guess it would have been a whole lot different if you'd had all that schooling before.
Yeah, it would have. Made a lot of difference.
How's that?
Well, I'd never been here to start with. I'd probably been somewhere working if I had all this when I first got out of school. But after you're out of school, why you forget a lot of it.
Here's an old picture, me and my daddy. The picture that was took off of me.
Where was he buried?
Up on the hill out Mama's. Up at his place.
Was he born around here?
At Ermine, Christ Colley.
So he lived in the mountains all his life?
Yeah, all his life.
Did he like them?
Yeah, buddy.
What did he do?
Well, he worked in the mines, you know, and he got disabled. And here's some more of their pictures. See, that's the smallest. Here's Emery when he was in the 2nd grade. Here he is in the 1st grade. Yeah. And there's Esther. And there she is again. There's that little one of color.
Yeah.
Just I had one black and white and then that one of color.
Keep him in the Bible, huh?
Yeah. See, nobody don't ever mess with the Bible now, and that's the reason I keep anything.
I love that. That is the redneck filing system is the Bible. That's where you put all your important documents, family photos, because everybody knows you don't touch Mama's Bible ever.
That's Leonard. See, them's 2 alike. There's Emery. Looks like he's fat or something. Yeah, where's Esther's at? I hear him. Oh man, here's some real big ones.
Annie, over!
Let me talk. Let me talk it.
Come on. Annie! Wait a minute. Annie!
Man, quit. You bust a hole in the house. Sure are, Leonard.
Oh, God.
Get on the other side. Swap sides.
Ah! Lord. Look at that.
And this looks rough, you know. I mean, the outside picture of the house, you know, you could tell the house is falling in, and you're seeing stuff out in the yard, and it's just, you know, you can tell this is rough living. These people are living rough. But I'm telling you, those kids probably have some really good memories coming up in that place. You know, I mean, there's a lot of despair, but there's also a lot of good in places like that. I mean, heck, that's what makes us so tough here, you know. But we appreciate the things like that, like those good memories, you know, the family, and, you know, just being wild and being a kid and running around and having fun with your family. It's just, you know, it's not all bad.
Good, and always when you find a ball, put the
Yeah.
eye on.
How was that?
Andy! You like got 3 of them.
Get on, Leonard.
Let me throw it one. Let me throw it out there.
Andy!
Toss up.
There are some jobs available, mostly in the mines, but they require skills which men like Collins do not have. Until recently, there were few effective programs to train them and little attempt to bring new industry in. Instead, there have been government work programs, medical cards, and food stamps. A gigantic welfare state has emerged, which has destroyed pride and initiative and made people dependent on the system. Collins bought $60 worth of stamps on the 1st of each month in 3 weeks.
Jack, y'all want to do some of it? No, thank you, Frank. I'll wait a bit.
I'll get $60 worth of stamps Friday, and it had to do me all the month of December for 5 of us.
John Engel. John Engel. Stacy Scott. Martin Leary. Frank Collins.
I know this video is a little tedious and depressing, but after this, I swear I'm opening it up. We're going to talk about some, you know, games and, you know, stuff like that. Just this is important. It needs to be seen.
$20, $40, $50, $53, $56, $58, $260. Thank you.
Just how they can't eat actually what they should have. You go to buy meat with $60, well, you can get some, but you can't get what the young'un needs. Milk is over $1 a gallon. You take 3 growing young'uns, how long is a gallon milk going to do them? Just a mess or 2. Well, they can't have what they need. Maybe I get them 2 or 3 gallons. And time I buy the rest of the groceries, meal, flour, stuff like that, lard, cream. There ain't nothing left to buy meat and stuff like that. The eggs, well, You can buy them cheap, but they don't last long, and you can't keep them. If they don't use it that day, well, I just throw it out because I can't run the refrigerator. I've got a good one, but I can't run it. It makes a big difference. It's just a bad situation anywhere you go.
The wealth of Appalachia is underground. Much of it, however, is owned by land and coal companies outside the region in cities like New York, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia. They bought the coal rights from the mountaineers around the turn of the century for as little as 50 cents an acre. Since then, much of the profit has left the region. Today, machines do most of the work and relatively few men are employed in the mines. Years ago, there were thousands of miners. They lived in company towns with company stores. They risked their lives daily. And until they organized in the 30s, they worked 12 hours a day and more for very little pay. And when the mines closed down during the Depression and again in the 50s, often it was without warning, and many people were left with nothing but their dreams.
I can remember the old days when, after the First World War, maybe it was in the 20s, that this whole place here, they'd take, for instance, the coke ovens would burn all night, and they had theaters going. And when I was young, we'd come over here sometimes, I'd have a date. We'd come over here and go to the movies. One time, I remember, in particular, the Trail of the Lonesome Pine. We saw the first showing over here. And just the whole place just all lit up, and theaters and old commissaries and the coke ovens going, and they'd go on all night.
Hager was a good booming place at that time. It had a big garage over there and a filling station, and all these stores was filled up with everything. And the post office was there, and this was a big commissary up to Allegheny with everything in the world in it to eat. And it was just a real wonderful place to live in, and everybody enjoyed it. I mean, you know, they had just living high on the hog, as you should say. But when it went down, they went down too. And then they just moved out.
I had to leave this holler 7 times. And I was working the day this mine shut down up here, closed down. I was working that day. And I was working the day this and shut down. And I was working the day that and shut down yonder. And they just said, come up and put a notice up. Mines are down. And that's all of it. They didn't give you nothing. Companies didn't, they didn't even advance you nothing. And if you lived in a property, you paid them just the same as you was working for.
What do you mean?
If you lived in their houses, you paid the rent. No matter how long you lived there, you had to pay the rent. The mines was down, they didn't care. You paid it. Or if you didn't, they moved you out.
I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? The stores that you shop at, the house that you're renting, everything costs. Even the supplies that you bring into work that you have to pay for your own, work supplies out of your own paycheck. You have to go and buy it down at their store. I mean, this is exactly where we're heading with like Walmart, Amazon. You know, that's why it was just so eye-opening. It's so relevant to what is going on today, because it's the same thing that was going on 60 years ago. I was watching this and I was like, okay, well, maybe at some point they might start talking solutions. But then you think about it, it's like they never did. I mean, there are solutions. It's just that we've never been able.
And let their house fall down. Just like this whole hollers fell down. No, they didn't get no warning. They worked right on up to the night they shut her down. They said, she's gone, boys. Junking her. Oh, yeah, they lost automobiles. They lost everything. It was pitiful hauling furniture and stuff back out of this holler. big cars, fine automobiles. It was a sight. But I had luck. I kept mine. I had a good one, brand new one. And a lot of their houses, what houses they owned, they sold them, tore them down. Sold it out, jumped. They didn't care nothing about nobody. I'll tell you the truth about it. Blue Diamond didn't care nothing about nobody.
Come all you coal miners, wherever you may be, and listen to the story that I relate to thee. My name is nothing extra, but the truth to you I'll tell. I'm a coal miner's wife, I'm sure I wish you well. I was born in old Kentucky, in the coal can, born and bred. I know all about the pinto beans, bulldog gravy, and cornbread. And I know how the coal miners work and slave in the coal mines every day. For $1 in the company's store, for that is all they pay.
Without the Kentucky, West Virginia coal fields, that World War I and World War II wouldn't have been run.
And what will you get for your labor but $1 in the company store? A tumble-down shack to live in, snow and rain pouring through the top.
The car that you drive requires 1.5 tons of coal to make the coal to build that car.
Coal mining is the most dangerous work in our land, with plenty of dirty slaving work, but very little pay.
This example of industry in eastern Kentucky, I think, is just typical of how this country was founded.
Now, let me tell you, this dude that's getting ready to talk, he's got a totally different insight into mining in Appalachia than the stories that we've heard so far. Now, I'd like to know where this guy's living, but you can tell by his job why he has the opinions.
On private enterprise.
For over half a century, supported American industry. 1966 alone, almost $900 million worth of coal was extracted. But the wealth underground is rarely reflected above ground. Illiteracy is high. Many people don't have enough food, and vitamin deficiencies are still common. The streams are polluted, the countryside littered with refuse, the mountains being torn up by strip miners. The companies do contribute income in the form of workers' salaries, and some companies are active in civic activities. But by and large, the coal benefits only a few. Those that still work in the mines and those...
We're a subsidiary of Bethlehem Steel, and we operate 3 coal mines and preparation plants. Last year we produced 2.25 million tons of coal used to make coke, to make steel. And right here in our town alone, the last year and a half, there's been about 25 to 30 new homes.
David Zagier is superintendent of mines for Beth Elkhorn, a subsidiary of Bethlehem Steel.
We, as a company, provide employment for these people who make $7,000 to $8,000 a year. There's a lot of opportunities here for people. The living environment, conditions is great. We're tickled to death that we had a chance to raise our kids in a town like this.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, it's like, are you are you talking about the same place I am? Because I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same place. He's talking about great opportunities, great place to raise your kids. Look at him driving his car. Totally different story than the one that we saw earlier. The dude's selling everything that he had that wasn't tied down just to keep his kids from starving. You know, but it's a great place for opportunity. Great place. I mean, if you kiss the right ass, that is.
Everybody knows everybody, and it's just a nice, friendly atmosphere, and the opportunities in mining are great. We have a very low turnover of people, which to me is an indicator that people that work here are happy and what they're doing.
Okay, now that was seizure-inducing. Okay, that was just so bad that there's not a high turnover rate. That just means that they're really happy with their really dangerous, shitty-paying job. No, that means they don't have any other job. You've got him in a corner, and that dude, on some level, he must know that. He can lie to himself, but on some level, he must know that. They don't work those jobs because they're happy to risk their lives every day. They did that because there wasn't any other thing to do.
Environment under which they live.
Independent coal companies, as well as some of America's largest corporations like Bethlehem, U.S., and Republic Steel, take millions of dollars of coal annually from Appalachian counties. Yet those same counties have little money for public services like schools, roads, recreational, or health facilities. Some of them cannot meet even 10% of their school budgets. Appalachian legislatures have kept property taxes low compared to other states, and elected county tax assessors aren't given the money with which to do an adequate job of assessment.
We don't make any surveys. We don't have any mapping system at all. And the Revenue Department doesn't furnish any technical advice or aid or any way in the...
Delmar Drawn, county tax assessor, Knott County, Kentucky.
So we just have to rely on the companies to give us an honest list. And in most cases they are pretty...
Now that sounds familiar. These people that need to do their job are not giving the efficient, means to actually do their job. They have to just trust that these honest companies and corporations are telling the truth. I mean, they never lie to us, right?
Pretty accurate.
If you can't survey the land, how can you trust that the companies are giving you a fair assessment?
Well, we just have to trust them. We just have to take their word. They have a mapping system, and they'll bring their maps in and present them to us, county tax commissioners. We don't know very much about them after we look at them, but they sort of convince us anyhow.
Have you ever tried to raise the assessments on them?
Oh yes, I raise their assessment pretty often.
How about a severance tax? Would that help?
I like to see a severance tax myself. I'm for it. I think it'd be wonderful.
What would it do?
Oh, it would, no doubt, if the legislature would set it out right and contribute some or quite a bit of that money that would arrive from it to each county. Well, naturally, it would help our county.
There have been some proposals for a tax assessed locally on the coal taken from the ground. 5 cents a ton would bring in almost $10 million a year to those counties. The companies have opposed it. They say they cannot afford that much tax, that it would put them at a disadvantage with other fuels.
It's been proposed.
Gee. Have we heard that argument still to this day? To this day. How could we ever afford to pay what we're, our fair share? How could we ever afford to do it? Well, if we start actually paying the people that we're supposed to and doing the thing that we're supposed to be doing, well, we just, how could we afford all these, millions of dollars? I mean, we wouldn't have millions of dollars if we actually, did what we were supposed to do. We just can't afford it.
Well, it's been proposed just recently in the state legislature, but seemingly it's unpopular, maybe, I guess, with coal operators, naturally, they may not want to pay the taxes. And, you know, these big companies that have a lot of wealth in your county, and they employ a lot of men, or not very many now, but they keep a lot of money here and put a lot of money in circulation, and naturally your representatives have inclination to sort of go along with them, you know, and try to please them. And there's not too many people, individuals, think too much about it and realize it just what it would mean to the economy of the county and how much relief it will give all of those people as far as taxes if these companies were paying their share.
Not paying enough. Well, who's to be the judge? We're paying what we're required to pay by law, and in fact, we even pay more.
David Zagier, Beth Elkhorn.
We pay 20% of the taxes in this county alone, and yet we only own 2% of the mineral. So how about the other 98%?
What's the mineral worth?
Nothing unless you can get it out and make a profit on it. If you can't make a profit on it of a penny or more, you just will leave it in the ground. It's not worth anything to you. There's a lot of good points for public debate there, but I don't think our time is can let us get into all the aspects of the economics of the coal industry.
What do you mean, Mr. Gary?
Without coal, you would have very little, if anything, in our area. The area is depending upon coal. I think this area should be very happy that corporations such as ours and U.S. Steel and others are here. They're good companies. They're honorable companies. If we are wrong in mining coal in eastern Kentucky, and if we are wrong in what is going on in the Appalachian area as far as industry is concerned, then I think this whole country is based on the wrong philosophy. To do it any other way, you're just talking about socialism. So if what we're doing is wrong, then this whole country is wrong.
Coal is cheap now. Everything going to gas or electrical. Well, the price of coal is cheap, but when you go and buy it by the ton and transfer it from across the mountain over in here, you pay $10 for it, maybe more. And when we can buy it, we buy it. When we can't.
A little bit. This dude, I gotta hear this.
Elkhorn.
We pay 20% of the taxes in this county alone, and yet we only own 2% of the mineral, 98%.
What's the mineral worth?
Nothing unless you can get it out and make a profit on it.
That right there. I really wanted to stress that point. It ain't worth nothing while it's still in the ground, right? That wealth is because of the workers themselves. But they don't want to share that. They don't want to share that with the community. They don't want to share that with the workers.
If you can't make a profit on it of a penny or more, you just will leave it in the ground. It's not worth anything to you. There's a lot of good points for public debate there, but I don't think our time is can let us get into all the aspects of the economics of the coal industry.
There's never any time to get into the economics of the coal company. There's never enough time for that. Now, there's always time to exploit some people, but nah, we can't. We won't waste time talking about that shit.
What do you mean, Mr. Gary?
Without coal, you would have very little, if anything, in our area.
By design.
The area is depending upon coal. I think this area should be very happy that corporations such as ours and U.S. Steel and others are here.
It's just what a hideous man. Just we should be grateful for the exploited the job exploit the community. We should be thankful for these jobs that are dangerous, because we wouldn't have jobs otherwise, because they're the ones that keep the jobs out. So we have to be, it's just like, looking at a slave, right? We give you food, right? But why are you so unhappy? Right? What's wrong? Just bullshit, man. This dude just lives and breathes bullshit.
They're good companies. They're honorable companies. If we are wrong in mining coal in eastern Kentucky, and if we are wrong in what is going on in the Appalachian area as far as industry is concerned.
See, that right there. Well, if this is wrong, I mean, of course it's wrong. Yes, the whole system is wrong. Yes, dude, you hit the nail right on the head. But it's us, it's the workers that are the problem, not the system, the workers.
Then I think this whole country is based on the wrong philosophy. To do it any other way, you're just talking about socialism. So if what we're wrong, then this whole country is wrong.
It's almost like Nancy Pelosi wrote his lines.
Coal is cheap now. Everything going to gas or electrical. Well, the price of coal is cheap, but when you go and buy it by the ton and transfer it from across the mountain over in here, you pay $10 for it, maybe more. And when we can buy it, we buy it. When we can't, I just get the best way I can.
When he did have the money, Collins would buy coal to keep his family warm. Now, like many other Appalachians, he crawls into the side of the mountain in back of his house and digs it out.
Pretty well.
Daddy on shovel. Don't shovel women, I'll get it. Oh, I can't I'll get it.
Right there, Kimber, you knock it down.
All right. What's all this do?
A whole lot of trouble, too, just try to keep warm. Have to crawl back in there and dig and heave and set, try to get a little coal. If government ever got the factories in here, maybe we wouldn't have to. Don't look like they're ever going to do anything, though. All the big companies just about own this coal. The poor people ain't got no more right to it. They tell me way back yonder that they bought up the coal mineral for practically nothing from the poor people. And now they ain't got nothing to live on or nothing else. Makes it rough all the way around. They ain't a dozen people in Letcher County, I don't guess, has got coal rights. Some big company's got them all bought up. That's where it hurts at. If people had coal rights, why they could.
Oh, and I was just looking at the chat, and Ryan said he looks like in his late 50s, and he's only 38. I know, right? Like, that's what I was thinking at the beginning. That's a rough 38. You look at this dude. He's aged way beyond his years. I mean, he's not that much older than, you know, what I am. I'm almost 31, and he's just got a few years on me, and look at him. This man's broke. You know, she's probably about the same age, maybe younger. It's what happens when you live a life like this. Constantly, I mean, look at them. They're always constantly just crunching money, crunching numbers. What can I sell? How can I live? Got to go dig coal out from, you know, underneath the earth so I can keep my children from freezing to death. And yeah, it's just, man, that wears on you. And now look at this dude. Now he's 38 years old and he's like 60. Like, what the, you know? That's what happens.
Make a little money around here, but in truck management you can't do it. Big companies got it all. Like Black Diamond, Blue Diamond Coal Company, and Blackwood Land Company, Virginia Steel and Metal Company. They own a lot of this coal. So what are you going to do? The poor people ain't got no change with big companies like that. We just have to get it out the best way we can when we ain't working. Come on, son.
If we don't fight for what we think's right now, 100 years from now, there won't be nothing. Our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and their grandchildren will grow up in poverty if we don't do something now.
You hear that. If we don't do something now, our children, our grandchildren are going to live in poverty. There's not going to be anything left. There's not going to be anything. That's where we're at right now. It's not just the coal industry. I mean, toy shops shut down, book shops shut down, family-owned restaurants that have been in business 50, 75 years, they're shut down. I mean, you can just drive through it. It looks like something from that Stephen King, like The Mist, you know, like it just creeps through your community and it kills everything in its path. I mean, I watched it. It was almost like a living thing that was just going through and just devouring these communities. And I watched it until it hit my community, you know. We used to have things. We used to have even trades that we could be proud of, you know, people that made their own furniture, you know, shops like that. But with other companies like, you know, Amazon, IKEA, and stuff like that, you know, nobody's got the time or the money for things like that anymore. It's a way of life.
If the free enterprise system as practiced in the Appalachian area hasn't seemed to work for many of the people there, neither has the welfare state in the form of government programs. Over 30 years of relief programs have done little to bring about any meaningful change in most lives. These men and several Vista workers came out of the West Virginia mountains to the Capitol in Charleston to protest a 45% cut in welfare payments and lack of jobs at home.
The United States is a rich country. We all know that. It's a rich country. Why should the American people have to live in poverty when they got enough of money and enough of resources here in the States to live on and survive?
Ooh, ain't that dangerous talk? That sounds like socialism. See, a dirty commie he sees all these resources that he's creating, and he wants a part of it. It's dangerous talk around here.
Have and make it good. Why should it? I can't see it.
West Virginia's one of the richest states.
West Virginia's one of the richest states in coal.
All of the men have large families. All were on government make-work programs, which did not offer any future, but did bring in some money. It was enough to live on until the state cut it almost in half, claiming a shortage of federal funds due to the Vietnam War.
I worked all my life. I've been on this ADC for 8 months. They sent me to school. They gave me $278. They cut me off, cut my check back down to $165. I can't live on it. They still sent me to school. They worked me 20 days a month for that. They sent me to school. So what else for me? I want to live an honest living. I didn't mind working and going to school at the same time. How many kids you got? I got 5 boys. How far is that 165 feet? Not very far.
The programs which seemed promising to many have delivered very little. Some men have been trained, but many more remain untrained, and there's no comprehensive program for them. 2,700 miles of highway have been authorized, but less than half have been completed. And while education and health standards have been raised, they are still far below national levels, and the men feel that they've been given, in their own words, just enough to keep them from squealing, and that government is unresponsive to their needs.
There's no jobs back home. Yeah, you can get a job as an oilie, as a truck driver, grease monkey, we call it. But what it pays? $20 a week. Could you think I could get my family on $20 a week?
You make more on welfare.
All right, that's when I got on it.
How about in Clay County? What's in Clay?
You hear that? You can make more money on welfare than you can actually working. And that's the trap that they get you in, man. Like by the time you get a job, they cut you off completely, and then you're worse off than where you started from. I mean, how are you going to replace a $25 an hour job or more with something that pays you know, $10, $8. It's, I think minimum wage is $8.75. You can't do that. I mean, you've already built a lifestyle. You've already, I mean, you can't just send your kids back. Like, you've already made the kids, you already got the wife, you already got the house. What are you going to do? You know?
In Clay County ain't nothing but a coal mine and a camping outfit. Builds these campers for trucks. That's all it is. They employ not very many men. So they couldn't work all of us on there.
What do you guys want? I mean, what do you...
I want jobs, yes, we all want jobs, where we can be independent. A job to have a good income, I mean, this way we can support our families. Definitely what we want.
Jobs and factories. We want factories in West Virginia. They put factories in other places. Why can't you put them in West Virginia? They put them in Ohio, Chicago, and everywhere else. Why can't you put them in West Virginia?
I don't know. You asked the governor?
Yeah. I can tell you why they don't, on account of the coal miners. The coal miners got the big majority. They kick the little man around, that's why.
We get jobs, yeah, we'd be glad to work. In fact, I don't want no hand down. I want to be a man.
I came down here, I think I was pretty apolitical. I just had graduated from law school. I believed everything that I read in the books about the responsiveness of government to people. And as the year progressed, and I saw how a man's economic situation made a difference and what kind of government he got, I became more and more disillusioned.
What do you mean?
I mean that here, where people have tried time and again by peaceful means to get even a straight answer to a problem which gravely affects them and have not been able to do so, I myself am left with no choice except to believe that either this is a perversion of the democratic process in West Virginia, that we have in West Virginia, or else that the democratic process doesn't work in this country.
Yeah, and just to kind of touch on what Garden was saying in chat, he said, you know, it looks like they're standing together to me. And even though racial tensions, you know, have always been a thing here, a lot of it is was due to the propaganda of the coal companies, because they would keep, you know, whites in a separate camp from immigrants, and those two groups separate from, you know, the black camps, you know, coal camps. So, I mean, they, you know, it's just, you know, same thing that's going on today, pitting people, poor people against each other while they, you know, take the spoils. But, you know, through that, you know, a big part of the mine wars was all those factions coming together and working together. And yeah, there were still some racists, and yeah, things weren't easy, and I'm sure, you know, they had their conflicts, but at the end of the day, they had a common goal that they were fighting for, you know.
Rick Bank, a Vista volunteer from New York, and Bob Tanner, an Appalachian volunteer from California, helped organize this protest.
Moved in with them at the end of the month, and all we had was gravy and coffee, you know, for the last week of the month, because the check ran out, you know, a week before that. And, you know, it's just, at least down in the southern counties where we work, and I think the last election proved in the whole state, you know, that it's just not, things just aren't working down here, you know. And so
there's another problem that goes along with that, and that's the fact that people here don't understand the meaning of political power and are just beginning to understand that. And until there is a group of and middle class people whose interests are the same, who are willing to organize the situation, there won't be any impetus in the other direction. I think what's happening here is a good indication of it.
What's the complaint of the AVs and the Appalachian Group to Save the Land and People and all those people?
What is their complaint? Their complaint is period. I mean, they just complain. They don't like our government. They don't like our...
Bob Holcomb, past president of the Kentucky Independent Coal Operators Association, is representative of the small conservative middle class which opposes attempts by Vistas and other groups to organize the poor.
Let the government run everything. And they preach that the government is the best to do all these things. In other words, everybody should be, all industry and everything else should be completely controlled by the government. The same philosophy is taught in Russia. But Russia don't have to send that.
Oh, Russia fear-mongering. There is a touch of Red Scare in this, just to warn you. But then again, still not different than anything that's going on today.
That's any wheat to live on. We do that. No, I'm not saying there is no poverty. I'm saying that poverty is And because a lot of people that you from New York would consider poverty-stricken don't consider themselves.
It's a state of mind, y'all. So next time power company wants to turn my bill off, be like, you know what, that debt that I owe you, that's just a state of mind. You know, really, when you think about it, you're rich in other resources. So, you know, you don't need my money because, yeah, it's just a state of mind. Get over it.
People go to work and need no poverty program.
No, you don't need any poverty program.
They go to work.
You don't think there's a need for any
But I've
poverty
dug
program?
ditches, no need here. No need for the Commons, no need for the Appalachian Volunteers or any of the rest of these things. It's coming in here.
So you have a bad tax system, bad education, bad roads, and that keeps the industry out. And you don't have educated workers because of the educational system I was speaking about. So somewhere along the line, somebody's going to have to make a break in that and say, look, let's spend the money to change this system so that there can be industry, there can be better education, and there can be jobs for these people and make them productive citizens. In other words, when you attack the ABCU guy, when you attack the guy on welfare, you're attacking the product of a system, not the cause of what's wrong. You're attacking somebody who's...
Just let that one sink in there. Well, like Trump, just the same thing with Trump. We're attacking the symptom, not the cause. Excellent tactic on the rich people's part, because it seems to be working for a long time now.
Who suffered under the system, not the guy who's created it. And if you want to change things, don't tell this guy to get up and get a job when he can't. Because he doesn't have a decent way of life here.
Okay, of his own choosing. Well, why couldn't he go to work like other people?
I don't see why they couldn't go out and shovel and dig ditches. You guys are advocating that everybody that can't find a job in West Virginia leave West Virginia. Is that right?
No.
Well, then what are they going to do? Sit around and starve? You want to bury them?
You know why the cities are burning now? Because people from down south have gone up north. They've gone to the cities and there's no jobs. There's no food, so they're burning them.
I mean, if there are no jobs in this state and a guy has a family, he's got to do something. And so the federal government said, all right, we'll train these men. They set up these great training programs, looked tremendous in bill form. The president signed them with umpty dozen pens and handed them out to all the congressmen that sponsored the bill. Gets down to the local area, and 100 men out of 168 in Clay County get assigned to the state road, and they make big rocks into little rocks. Some training.
You know, you're complaining.
In eastern Washington, I'm from the state of Washington. In eastern Washington, there was poverty as deep as any poverty anywhere. Senator Magnuson decided that had to be changed, and he started building the Columbia River Basin Project, a project that today has got 10 dams on it, produces more electricity than the state of Washington and the whole Pacific Northwest could ever use in a lifetime, has produced great irrigation projects, has raised that level of the income in that area tremendously. Now, why can't you guys, as citizens of West Virginia, find us some projects in this state that are going to get us off the ground? That's the kind of stuff you guys can do.
They are calling.
God bless those two dudes. One from Washington, one from California. I didn't catch their names, but God bless them, man. You know, they saw, and that's what I respected about Bernie during the primaries, was he went to one of the places that by everything that you would read in the papers or online, like, they wouldn't be welcome. But they came here, and look at them, sitting down talking with people. I mean, there were some people challenging them, but look at how many more people in that circle that supported them rather than was fighting them. You know what I mean? And those people came here and spoke about their ideas and the knowledge that they had, and they passed that on to other people here. And we need that. We need more of these, you know, more people from here reaching out, more people from outside the state, you know, here. I mean, we just got to help each other. We just got to start helping each other. And it won't be too much longer, I swear. I'm trying not to interrupt too much. There's only about, I don't know, about 15 minutes left in this video. And then we'll go on to something a little less depressing.
For dedication all the way to a cause. At the same time, they're feeding out messages saying, forget it.
Pikeville, Kentucky. Herbert Philbrick, professional anti-communist, was invited by the Chamber of Commerce there to speak out on the...
How do you get a job title like that? Professional I mean, I'm not an amateur anti-communist. I'm a professional. Where do you have to go to study that? Business school? I don't know. But he's a professional. All right. You can trust him.
The dangers of communism in the United States and in eastern Kentucky.
You can see where we end up. We find Americans who do nothing and communists who are working very hard. So you can have 1 million Americans do nothing and a handful of communists who are dedicated and who will give their lives to a cause. Who's going to win? Who will win? I know there have been some rumbles concerning the VISTA program here and some of where the money has gone through the OEO. Anything to be surprised about? Anything to be hysterical about? Any reason to suspect that if the communists...
Philbrick's appearance followed the arrest and an indictment for sedition brought against poverty workers. They had been helping landowners organize against strip mining. The law under which they were charged was struck down and they were released. But the case brought out deep middle-class fears of outsiders and government programs.
If we can only build now, and if we can only find more people of equal dedication, of equal concern, we can and we shall win this struggle. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Oh, definitely it's communist here.
What are they doing?
Well, some of the same things he spoke about. I think the communists mixed up here with this was arrested.
I'm born and raised here 62 years in these mountains. We've always made a living without OEO and without vistas. We don't need them. I've got some valuable land down here that men like him have just finished augering my property. I'm putting out fruit trees and things like that on it.
So men like him just got done bribing them. I mean, what's the issue there?
People, they come in the restaurant, they smell, they stink, they don't take a bath. Our poorest people take a bath in a #2 wash tub. These people don't even take a bath. I've got up and left the restaurant on occasion or two when these filthy things come in. The odor is so bad you can't eat your breakfast. Jesus Christ. And the government paying these people to come in here and tell us how to live.
George,
what you're seeing here is fear-mongering of the other. I mean, just classic textbook. I mean, just equating them with animals, you know, these outsiders, these filthy people trying to tell us how to live. You know, oh, God, this guy just reeks of just stupidity.
Saturday night, same people.
Listen, you people would be more highly appreciated if you dressed like hillbillies and not like something out of a Jack in the Box or something. Mm-hmm. You don't need to come in here to impress us with boots and fuzzy faces. No, my friend.
Wrong place, boy. You're
in the wrong damn place. Believe.
You're in the wrong place, boy. You better turn back around. What the fuck? Like, they have it. And see, this is what Jimmy Dore talks about. You know, they're not attacking their ideas. You're not attacking their ideas. You're not saying that they're wrong. You're just saying they smell bad. You know, they look funny. They don't dress like us. They're different. They're the other. Meanwhile, nothing whatsoever about the merit of the things that they're talking about.
Believe you me.
Better believe me.
You come to us like human beings, and we'll treat you like a human being. You come to us like a damn bunch of beatniks, and we'll treat you like beatniks. Yeah. Now, my friend, you better believe it. You're treading on damn dangerous ground.
That's right.
Divorce yourself from this bunch of scum, and get with it. Be human beings.
Why is it dangerous ground?
Sir?
Why is it dangerous ground? Don't say it. Don't say it.
It's dangerous ground because these mountain people won't tolerate.
They're getting tired.
They won't tolerate it, my friend. I know.
Aren't they helping the poor people?
No. No, they're not helping the poor people. They're taxing hell out of the poor people to feed the damn things. That's right.
How are they taxed?
To feed the damn things. Things, not even people, not even animals, things. Just feed those damn things. You know, those people that sacrifice their lives and their education just to go and work in those mines and to do the jobs that we wanted, and now we discard them like they're trash. Well, now they're just things. They're just things. Because they want to eat, because they want a roof over their head. Now they're things. They want stuff. God, who do they think they are? Wanting a fucking living wage and be able to afford the basic necessities of life. Damn things.
Taxing?
That's a damn right.
My God, mister. Do you own any property?
No.
You don't own no property, huh? Jesus Christ.
How are they taxing them?
Taxing? Here, on you. Jesus.
You can't talk to them.
Listen, you people are really on dangerous ground. Now, you're not talking to Philbrick.
What do you mean?
My God, you're talking to a hillbilly now, man. And we're
What you're witnessing now is a scared hillbilly that has been cornered. You're asking him questions, making him think, but he ain't used to that. He ain't used to somebody asking him, why do you believe what you believe? Why are you saying the things that you're saying? Because they don't make sense. It doesn't add up. You know, and this guy's like, he's freaking out, man. He don't know what to do. Well, I've already caught him, you know, animals. What else? I mean, what other? I mean, I can't attack them on their ideas. What else can I do? Gosh, I mean, this guy's panicking. And then look at his little, you know, hype dude right there. You know, he just, whatever he has to say, he's like, yep. Oh, yes. Whatever you have to say, mister.
I'm getting sick and tired of you.
Born and raised here.
And you better believe it.
Why?
We don't like the way you dress. We don't like your fuzzy damn faces. We don't like your boots. We don't like that. We don't like no part of it.
I used to get part of it, not to go really hell on.
It's getting to the place where people...
Oh, this is such a good quote. This is such a good quote. And this is a really important section. So important. Okay. I want to cut this guy off. Okay.
I used to get part of it, not to go really hell on.
It's getting to the place where people are not really needed in this society.
The Reverend Andrew Young of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
Everybody is determined to drive us out. Now, what do I mean by that? They put the pressure on us down in Mississippi. That's the reason they won't give us free food stamps. That's the reason they don't want the government programs to come in. That's the reason they won't build houses. That's the reason they won't provide education, because they want you to get out of Mississippi and go to Chicago. But when you get to Chicago, Matt Daley puts you under such pressure that he's trying to drive you out of there. And people in West Virginia who are going someplace and they go from one state to the next, and nobody needs people. Nobody wants people anymore, especially not poor people. And so
the people come together to organize from Tennessee and Eastern Kentucky, Virginia, and West Virginia. This is a meeting held in Charleston, West Virginia in the summer of 1968. They are holding workshops on local problems and trying to get white Appalachians to identify with the black civil rights movement. But the combination of a cutback in poverty funds, a feeling by the poor people that government and industry are not committed to change, and the opposition of the middle class makes organizing difficult.
The only thing we can do is take over where we are and run that. And if we can...
I so agree with that. You know, and that's why I've taken a huge turn from the national news. Like, I try to keep up to date with it to a certain degree, but, you know, if we want to really make this change, we got to start taking care of our own communities. You know, I keep saying, like, I don't know why people keep voting for Joe Manchin and all these other people. Well, you know, nobody else is giving them anything. Nobody else is giving them hope. Nobody else is giving them any kind of promises. Nobody's talking to them. You know, our community has been destroyed. And we got to rebuild those communities. I mean, we just don't know our neighbors anymore. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true.
Once begin to do that and build a base from where we're all poor, then maybe we can have something to say about how the society is run.
I want you to remember, why are we going to Washington? Why am I standing here? Why are we...
Oh my God, this dude's so good. But he gets fired up. And, you know, he stayed pretty active after this. I don't remember his name, but he stayed pretty active in politics for a while after this. But, you know, when the change doesn't come, people start to lose hope. And I don't know what happened to this guy, but he just kind of, he faded out. But, you know, he was passionate.
Robert Fulcher, president of Mercer County CAP organization.
When I was a kid growing up, I can remember when the back of my pants looked like something left over from a Halloween party, because on the back, 2 big patches over my pants, on my knees the same way.
In West Virginia, we need jobs that will pay something. You see, in the economy of the United States of America, we stand number 12th in wealth. The state of West Virginia does. But we're not a state. We're more like a colony. All of our natural resources and our great minerals is owned by people that lives in other states. Like the King and Queen of England used to come in and take from the colonies, these people are taken from us. We have no tax at all on our great wealth. Nothing at all.
The colonization of America. This is the colonization of America. And it happened here, and it's happening in other states, and it's going on around the world. And it, you know, we like to think that it's something that we do to just, you know, other countries, and it's not. We do that to our own people. Living proof.
Oh, in other words, why can't these people that owns this wealth in West Virginia process this here into a finished product in West Virginia, set up factories into a finished product to where this wealth can be processed here, give the people in West Virginia jobs, because this is their wealth, this is their money, this is their life, this is their land. And it can be sold on the market much cheaper than what it's being done. And until the white people awakens to the fact that he is a poor man, that he has to be identified to what he has and where he stands. This is the main issue, the main thing, is the white people.
I tell you, the white people have to be identified with this thing. You have to be part of it. People wants nothing out of this, but I'll tell you, in the last year I've seen more white people wake up while they've been asleep than I have ever seen you wake up out of bed in the morning.
See, this dude's woke, man. He had his coffee. He is woke, and he is there to make a change. I love him, man. He is fiery. We need more people like that these days. And people done got that fire beat out of them.
Shine your light, Jack, please. Andy, take a look. What white Appalachia is. They want you to see that they are part of this campaign, Andy. They want to be part of it. And I am proud today to stand up before you as a white man and declare that we are becoming part of a nation that is being reborn again and is going to live again. Andy Young is, I said before, one of the greatest men that I have ever known. Andy, I love you as a brother. Love you,
And like, I know this guy has put a lot of emphasis on white, but here's the thing. He's trying to talk to the white people in that group, He's trying to bring the white people over into this and to connect the two groups here. So, and he's not very PC about it, I'll put it that way. But this was the early 60s, I believe. So, I mean, he's getting there. He's got the right ideas. So, he saw the importance. He saw that there was there was no difference between what we were struggling, and what the other, like black community, immigrant community here was struggling with. Poor people are poor people. You get treated like dirt, of course, people that are black and stuff, like, of course they get it worse, but yeah. Dude's on the right path.
I couldn't have said that a few months ago. I hated the nigger a few months ago. This is...
Yeah, see what I mean? Not PC, but like I said, his heart is in the right place. He's trying. For back then, hell, this dude would have been like cast out progressive. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you.
True, yeah. Until I began to realize the Bible that I had read taught me that all men were created equal, and that we're all human beings in the sight of God. I'm not ashamed to admit what I was and what I am now. Today I am a man that can stand up for human beings and human dignity and human rights.
And I think that's a good point. Like, you see this guy, right? And you see it today too. This guy, he's trying real hard. His heart's in the right place, his mind's in the right place. But just because you get your terminology wrong, and I know I probably do this with all kinds of communities. Like especially like trans and stuff, because I'm not, I've never really been. I haven't been really exposed to groups like that, so you don't always know, what's offensive and what's not. Now this dude obviously has no issue with black people whatsoever, but he does use racist terminology, so. I think that's something that we need to keep in mind, because a lot of these people, and I don't know about a lot, but it happens. It's just a learning process, and you got to give people that time and that curve to know. And then again, like I said ago, totally different time. So.
I just don't tell you. You don't go around like it, ain't it?
Friday? Help. No, I don't. Yeah, like this. Yeah, like what? Yeah. I got you. Bookie! You too, shut that.
I'd like it here. Better not do any place else. Because it feels like home when you used to live here once before, and it just feels like home. Now, I never have been in the city, except Lexington. And I don't know nothing.
He's saying he ain't been in the city except for Lexington, I guess, Kentucky. This kid, it's hard to watch, because this kid, he's just a kid, and he's wise beyond his years, and he shouldn't be. But that's what living here does to you. It makes you hard. It makes you think. It makes you age way beyond your years. Look at his dad, 38 years old, on death's doorstep. And this kid, he's only like, what, 12 or 14, something like that. And the things that are on his mind, no child should have to worry about. No child should have to think about this stuff. But this is the stuff that he's got to worry about.
about the city. If I'd been in a city now and know how it feels, I'd tell you more about it, but I like Kentucky because it's forest, hills and things, woods. I like the woods. So I don't know what to do.
How you reading, Judd?
Reading this. The Stars of Death Dice Street.
You got to realize your boy's 14, you'll soon be going off to work.
14. Soon be going off to work. 14. Man, he should be chasing girls and playing football, you know? Like, and he's already thinking about work. Like, he's already worried about how is he going to make a living? How's he going to survive at 14? How am I going to survive at 14?
But I'll say he won't even go to high school. He done been in high school if he hadn't failed in 2 years.
They've got a program set up here for the dropouts to work, and he'll probably go to work on that. He gets enough money to get out on. His mother's got a sister in Dayton. I got a brother in Belleville, Michigan. He got a sister in Illinois. Well, he'll probably go some of them go to work. I don't know where he'll go or what he'll do, but he won't be here much longer.
I'll keep him with me as long as I can.
God, that breaks my heart. You hear him? You have to get rid of him soon. You want him to have a chance of survival, you're gonna have to send him away because there's no survival here. You gotta separate this child from his parents. He doesn't want to go. His parents don't want him to go. But what other option does he have? He can't stay there. There's no opportunity. No way of making a living. He's got to go. And this is what they call the brain drain that happens here. As a lot of people, when they're young, they run. They run from here. And the only people that are left here are the people. If you want to do something with your mind, not that the people here are dumb, by no means. But if you want to have a job where you use your mind and not your back, you're going to have to move. Because this ain't the place for thinking.
Yeah, but you can't tie a young person down. Y'all pretty well have to go if they ever have anything.
Marla, let's see.
Hey. It's funny, hot rice to me.
Give me a sheet of paper.
See? The hot rice made ain't finished cutting.
Wait, did you copy it?
No, I sat down and draw it. Ask anybody you want to.
Well, let him get that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, let him get it.
Showing artist born.
Look, I'm going to rewind that just because I want you to look at the face on this little boy. Little boy. And he's showing his mom. He's so proud of this thing that he drew. But you look at the pain on his face. Look at this.
Well, let him get that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, let him get it.
Showing artist born.
He has to chase it, throw him away.
Paper.
Sorry, I never knew you.
He's tracing that.
Mr. Scott was my teacher last year. I failed a year. I failed 6. I failed 2 years. If I hadn't failed them 2 years, I'd been pretty sure high school this year. I failed in the 4th. I failed in the 6th. While I failed in the 6th, I was homebound, taking athletic fits. I had a tumor on my brain.
I'm still trying to figure out what he's saying. Taking out the lead fits is what it sounded like. He said something about a tumor on his brain, but here's the thing. The problem with that is these are people of limited knowledge, and they don't really have the words to explain what exactly is going on. So I'm sure that look at his mom. and this boy's sick. Obviously there's something in their environment or something that's poisoning them, that's making them sick. And you can hear the regret in his voice, like, oh, if I wouldn't have failed those 2 years, man, like, maybe if this kid wasn't put in a position to where he was failing, maybe if he could have went to school, if he wasn't sick from whatever the lead fits are, or whatever this tumor was that he's talking about, kid was sick. And, now it's like, now he's screwed because he got sick.
No, Lord moved it. I believe I'll go on through school and try to make something out of myself.
Oh, okay. Okay. Dark Electro Head and Big Surreal said epileptic fits. Okay. Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, there is a pretty high rate of epilepsy. I know all my aunts and my uncle had it. I had epilepsy at just the petite mal, not the grand mal seizures. But yeah, epilepsy is pretty prevalent around here.
If you ain't got no education, you just ain't got no job. You can't get no job. I've seen that on TV. And you just can't go nowhere without education. That's why Dad sat in there now. He ain't got no education. If he had education, he'd be alright. Wouldn't be starving like we are. I just thinking that I'll go to high school, because I think I like it, and then I'll go through college and try to make something if I can get through college.
You see, this boy's already selling himself short. It's like, if I can get through high school, if I can get through college, what kind of hopes this kid got when, table or a stove in your kitchen, like this, your sights get set real short when you grow up like that. You don't dream big when you can't even afford the basic necessities of life. And it takes a lot for this kid just to dream about finishing high school and finishing college. 4 minutes left, and I swear, like, we're almost done.
Where we are now, can't get through high school. Boy, we are.
Don't go to that, what color?
Where'd you get your brown color? You ain't got no brown.
Here, some purple. Then I get me some yellow trace.
In other words, you mixed purple and yellow to get brown.
That's right.
That's right, huh?
Yep.
Well, what's this color here?
Purple.
Well, you got blue in it.
No, that's purple.
Well, maybe the blue faded from the ink, huh?
Yep. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, but you done a bad paint job around the edges here. See there, you went over, and here you didn't go up to it.
And look at these. I mean, these are good parents, man. They're just trying to take care of their kids. You see how interested they are in what their kids are doing. They worry about them, and they're just trying to give them the best that they can, and the best that they can do is to send them away from where they're at.
That is still nice enough for a little boy, ain't it? Okay. It's dry.
That's why you gonna do it. I'm gonna get your dad. That's why you gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it anyway.
May go ahead and do it, brother. You can beat him faint.
Don't let me.
Well, that's the end of that horribly dark and depressing video. But it was needed. It was needed. We needed that. I've been trying to do this video for over a year now. I mean, it's so important because it just exposes it wide open how fraudulent our politicians are, because these are the same problems from 60 years ago and 60 years before that even. And so what we're left with. So what I'm going to do is, the video's already done, and now we're going to do a lighter. I'm going to try to end this live stream and start a new one, but I don't know. I barely figured it out the first time. So I'm going to try to do that because I want to move on to something lighter. I want to talk about Fallout 76. And I'm so excited about talking about this because honestly, there's so much West Virginia, the scenery and the lore. So I mean, this is really fun to get into. Okay, so I'm gonna try to end this. Let me figure out Bear with me here. Yeah. Yeah, Brian said, yeah, that was pretty depressing, but necessary. Yeah. Depressing, but necessary. That's that about sums it up. Yeah, it's horribly depressing. All right. Let me figure out how to do this. Hold on. Oh, I need to post the link. Let me post the link in here real quick before I forget. Do I stop? Oh, yeah, stop share. All right. All right, where's the thing? I'm really glad that y'all sat through that with me and gave your input, because I know that was that was a long video. All right, nope, that's not the right link. James or press escape. Okay, Snork's here. Are you here? Okay, you're here. Let's see.
Oops.
Oh, thanks, Big Surreal. It was from 1968. Yeah. All right. So how long have we been streaming now? About 2 hours. Okay. So now I'm going to bring up the trailer for Fallout 76. Oh, so good. Nope. Oh, shoot. All right. Oh, wait. No, wait. I didn't post the Zoom link. Hey, Snort, do you know where I can find the Zoom link?
Let's see. Should be the same one I used to get in here. Let me see if I can still have mine up.
That.
I have the Zoom link. Where would you like me to post it?
Put it on the.
Oh yeah, in chat. Well, I'll put it in. I can go to
notes.
Facebook and bring it up and put it on the. You want to just drop it in chat?
Oops. I don't have a wrench. I can't post here.
Oh, you don't? That's crazy. All right. Can you just say something in chat so I can fix you?
Okay. There we go. Oh, the other chat.
Are we putting it in the notes? What do you want to do? Your show.
I'm looking. Try.
I can do it for you. No, no, I can't. You can. I can't do it. It's your thing. I can grab it.
Yes. Okay. I think I see it now. All right. I found it on here. All right. Now you have sharing capabilities. Mark. Okay. Now I can't post that in chat. And
there you go.
I'm gonna put it in the description box.
All right.
Notes.
All right. Now I'm gonna do it.
Oh, yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, it's completely decentralized. I think that regulations and committees and stuff would take 20 to 50 years to do the work that we could do in 2 years.
You're talking about the red tape, the bureaucracy of it all, and
yeah, just a town getting together and arguing about what we need to do.
Yeah.
Whose brother owns this? Whose brother can pay for that? Who can we bribe? Just so much
bribe. Who can we bribe?
Yeah.
Who can we collude with or conspire with?
What I'm saying is, it's so bad that we just need to bypass it all. Just first of all, guarantee they have the water, hands down. You can do anything you want after that. Argue about what you're going to do to get them clean water, because it's going to take a lot of work, and moves so slow that the main thing is we've got to think of it as an emergency. They need the clean water, and they need the clean water now. And if we can do it in 2 years, and the government can do it in 50, I think it's viable that we should be doing it. And kind of a duty for us to do it if we're the ones that can do it. If we leave it to government, how many times have you seen city council raise interest when it really needs to do it to get people a service?
Well, if there's a big contractor behind it,
and then and also if they do it, they usually deliver it subpar.
Yeah. Usually what it's intended, if it's good for the 99%, by the time it hits the ground, it's not running, it's crawling.
Yeah, because there are RO systems out there that will not meet it. There are ones that will say they have RO, but they have such big pores in them that they'll let bacteria and all kinds of stuff through. These bacteria or these filters need to have holes that are like a fifth or a tenth or a hundredth of a micron in size in order to be able to handle some of the pathogens that you encounter in this water. Especially California has got more pathogens than West Virginia, because you have the water that's so reused so many times by the time it gets to Los Angeles. I bet your water's cloudy, right, when you pour it from the tap?
Water's what?
I was talking about California.
Oh.
I can't imagine the water being anything other than cloudy when it comes out.
Yeah, it's a little hazy for sure. It's worse. There's 19 different contaminants in Anaheim, and I moved south to southern Orange County, and there's only 8 down here. So it's amazing that there's a difference. That's the sad part about it.
It's still a step forward, isn't it? But again,
yeah, I can taste the difference. It's weird.
And I don't know which contaminants you have in your water still. Some are worse than others.
I gotta go out and get that, or just go ahead and send me the thing and I'll run it. I won't pee on it. I promise I won't pee on it.
Well, that was just to check for pH, to see and how much was in there to see if the pores will clog. You also need one that says which chemicals are in there.
Right.
And they're about $15. I'll send you a link on Amazon.
Excellent. Okay, so that video, and I was picking up on some of it, and then I went and did a little workout, believe it or not, but listening to it off and on as I was eating my fried chicken and other stuff. This is a story that happens everywhere. It's probably more prevalent in a lot of the southern states or the red states. It's probably very serious and happens. It's happening immensely in West Virginia. But the thing is it's just every state has this, and we just have people in offices right now and seats and in positions where they're doing nothing. They're really doing nothing, and that's just the saddest part about all this. Is just the stifling and the ping pong paddle game that we keep seeing between the two parties, and that's why I always say we need a third.
That's why I thought it was important to show everybody, because it's like a cautionary tale, because I mean things have gotten pretty bad here, and I see it happening in other states, but I also see it beginning in other states. You know, so it's like, you know, there's just certain levels. You know, some people are farther along in the conversion, the colonization process, but every state will be colonized because every state has something that rich people can take, whether it's land or your water or your resources, something. There's something there.
Hey, Endo's here. Is that anybody we know?
Yeah. Endo, do you want to do a mic check or anything? Might be still figuring stuff out.
Mr. Within?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
So while Endo's figuring out the sound there, I'm going to go ahead and play this Fallout 76 trailer unless y'all have anything else you want to add to the dark, depressing topics of the night.
I know, right? I was just going to say, oh my God.
I want to keep things light and keep things fun. It's a West Virginia Day celebration. And then I bust out the Rich Land Poor People documentary, but I couldn't help it. It needed to be done.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share.
Well, Endo was here.
He can't talk. He's at work.
Oh. It was good to have him on. At least he's on hanging out. That's cool, man. Ryan. Oh, where is it? Let me see it. Oh, make it bigger. Oh, it is. Oh, that's West Virginia. Now that's not depressing.
Years after our great nation began, we gathered together to honor the completion of Vault 76. This sprawling underground shelter may have been engineered by Vault Tech, but it was built by you. So that if the bombs do come, our way of life will endure.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is all there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like the breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home.
For when the fighting is stopped and the fallout has settled, you must rebuild. Not just walls, not just buildings, but hearts and minds, and ultimately, America itself.
Country roads, take me home, country roads.
In Vault 76, our future begins.
I am so fucking playing that game.
How fucking psyched are you guys for that? Like,
I'm so psyched.
Oh wait, I better stop that before it's gonna keep playing. Oh, how do we get out of this?
I'm gonna go watch it right now.
All right, am I done sharing? I think I did. Yeah. Okay. So here's what's really crazy about this game that's coming out is the fact that of the attention they paid to the detail of the landscape, like, and they also went into pretty good detail when it comes to like the lore. I'm sweating up a storm in here. I don't have air conditioning in the basement, But they have everything from Morgantown. They have the college campus, like one of the buildings that they just showed in the trailer with the statue outside. That's one of the buildings up there at WVU. I actually have classes there, so it's crazy to see it. You see the Greenbrier, the state capitol. There's Mothman even makes an appearance. So they went with the folklore here. I think that there's a thing called the Flatwoods Monster, and I'm not really sure what that is because, I mean, let's face it, Mothman gets all the credit around here. Nobody really talks about the Flatwoods Monster, but I've heard about it before, but I'm not really sure what it is, but I've heard it's in the game too.
So, James, are we going to be going live on YouTube? Or are we just
live on YouTube?
Oh, really? I cannot find it.
You got to go. Just type in Red RED economics. Red economics.
Oh, we're on Stevie's channel. Oh, I told Shane it was Montauk, but I'll tell her it's Red. I'll tell Stevie.
Is that a real monster? Flatlands? Is that like a folklore kind of monster?
Yeah. I'm just not really. I've heard about it just in passing, but I've never really looked into it. That'd probably be a good video to do because I don't even know what it is. But Mothman, I am very familiar with Mothman. I'd like to do one on him too. Just kind of do some investigating into the local folklore of Mothman.
Is it Flatwoods or Flatlands?
Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Which I should worry more about the Flatwoods Monster than Mothman. Mothman kind of hangs out up in the north around Point Pleasant. Flatwoods is only about an hour from here, so if anything's going to get me, it's going to be the Flatwoods Monster.
Looks pretty scary. Here, I'm going to show you real quick.
Oh, that is creepy.
That's creepy.
Oh, that definitely is in the game. That's definitely in the game.
That's awesome. Watch out for Flatwoods Monster. That's just a trippy looking thing. Trippy. Do you know how? Is it kind of like what is it? Like a kind of Call of Duty, a Battlefield, or Ghost, or what is it? Is it? It's first person shooter, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I've only played a little bit of Fallout. I started getting into it, but you're only allowed like one save. I think I'm playing Fallout 3, but there's only one save, and then my son started a game, and he erased mine, and I never went back to it. But I'm really psyched about this. I mean, I've read reports that since the release of this, the trailer, West Virginia tourism has gone up 300%.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it shows how beautiful the state can be. I mean, even though it's a post-apocalyptic style game,
right? There's a couple of nice spots.
Still not too different. Still not too different from here.
Oh, so there's here. I got to show you this. Here's the monster. Here's what they're talking about. It's the Flatwoods. I'm looking up some stuff right now. Here it is. The Flatwoods Monster. Ba-boom. Right? That's probably it. It's got wings or something.
No, that's Mothman. He's got red eyes.
Oh, that's Mothman. Duh. Okay.
Duh. Mothman has red eyes.
Duh. Jesus. Okay, I'll find him. I like the helmet and I like all that stuff. Armor edition.
I love this one post, and it said, everyone's excited about how accurate Fallout 76 got the state capitol, WVU, and Camden Park, but I'm still impressed about how accurate they got the roads. And then here's the roads in the game. And I swear to God, no exaggeration, I drive on roads that look like that. We have some of the worst roads, the conditions, the potholes. They'll swallow your car up. And buddy, there's like 5 of them on the way to my house.
They look like that?
Yeah.
So
the roads are terrible here. I totaled a car hitting a pothole once. It broke the axle on it. No joke. The coal trucks. They're so heavy it keeps breaking down the road. No sooner than they fix it, then they have to fix it again. And a lot of these places, like especially if you live in these poor communities, they just, why bother? You know, every couple of years they might fill a hole in, but it doesn't really matter.
That's nuts.
That's what I mean. It's kind of dark, but I couldn't help but laugh. It's like, yep. Those roads are spot on. Our roads are already post-apocalyptic.
So Shane, our friend and Jesse Ventura's Green Team, just said, I'm not familiar with him when I said it was Stevie King's podcast. Because I guess the name Stevie invoked male in his brain.
Especially if you're talking about monster stories.
So
my boss just said that. She said, well, your name's Stephanie, but is there anything you go by? I said, yeah, I go by Stevie. She goes, oh, that's a little masculine, isn't it?
I'm so sorry.
I guess. I don't know. That's just, it is what it is.
The first time I heard Stevie was Stevie Nicks. I've never thought of it as masculine.
Yeah, that's what I always think.
It doesn't seem
I've
masculine.
never heard a dude go by Stevie.
That's misogynistic of Shane. All right, so Domino's Pizza, I saw this commercial today, is if you have potholes on your way to your delivery, they will pay for it. They will pay for the potholes to be paved. There's a commercial. I'll show you the commercial.
What did you say? I don't.
Here, I know. Okay, so we're just talking about potholes, right? I'm going to share this real quick. We're just talking about potholes, and Domino's Pizza has an actual paving truck. They're everywhere now. So if there's a problem with getting the pizza to you safely because the pizza will stumble around in the vehicle and get all mushy and stick to the top or whatever, they're going to pave the roads. I'm not kidding. This is really fucking happening. You got to watch this.
Crazy.
It's crazy. But Domino's, they can fucking afford that shit. I'm telling you. Domino's filling in pothole.
Well, Tom, the streets in Athens get better thanks to Domino's
You guys hear
Pizza. The company has launched a campaign to repair potholes in towns nominated by customers all across the country. Now, Domino's gave us these promotional pictures of their pavers hard at work. You can nominate your town. Cities that the company selects will receive money to help repair roads to, quote, make sure pizzas make it home safely. Domino's has already teamed up with Athens and 4 other cities across the country.
Isn't that crazy? So let Domino's fix the roads for the other companies that are out there. That's awesome. Right? Fuck, is that nuts or what?
Shane said he's not misogynistic. I just read it wrong.
No, I'm kidding.
We're messing around, Shane. We're just messing
We're just
around.
messing. Brian Blair. How do I know that name?
Oh, and Camden Park is in Fallout 76 too. That's our local amusement park. I use that term very loosely. It's more like those traveling carnivals, with the rides like the Spider and stuff like that. It's kind of like one of those, but permanent. And recently, and I hate to talk bad about it, but recently they just had an accident with one of their workers.
Oh.
Something collapsed on them or something like that, and they were in the hospital for a few days. I'm telling you, this place is a death trap. It's fun. I went up there a few years ago. By a few years, I mean 10 years. But I went there about 10 years ago, and I went to their haunted house. And the thing that gets you, it's not actually that scary. The fear comes from you might legit lose your life on one of their rides. Like, it is so dangerous. But, I mean, that's our amusement park. People have been going there for, 60 years or more. So it's it's really cool that they put that in the game.
And all the operators are, of course, very well groomed, and they have uniforms, correct?
Yeah, like I was talking to somebody that worked there, and they said that accidents would happen all the time, but they would phrase it to where it was the workers' problem, make them think that it was, well, part of the job, or, well, you were obviously doing something wrong, to where they wouldn't have to pay all these lawsuits and stuff like that. That stuff was constantly going wrong but nobody wanted to lose their job.
A liability issue
happens in the coal mines too. So
same old. Here's some pictures of Camden Park. I just want to look at this to see if I can see this in the game. Like, have you been on all these rides?
I've been on that haunted house ride, and I've been on all the rides that are there. So yeah.
Is the sign still the same? Right
Yes.
Here,
let me see if I can find a picture of the sign.
And Hannah's house is the same. Yeah, these are like traveling. This is stuff that pops up every once in a while at like we have the Orange County Fair, we have the Los Angeles, we have the LA County Fair, we have the San Bernardino Fair, we have some big fairs out here. They move around throughout Southern California, and they open up rides just like this, but these are stationary. These have been the same way for a long time. Ooh, okay. Looks like fun, though. My favorite is the spinning teapots at Disneyland. Okay, so if you guys ever come over here and you go on a spinning teapot ride with me, bring a doggy bag, because I get that thing spinning so fast. Like super fast. Oh, that's in there. Is that the same sign? That's awesome.
I think I've been to Disneyland 2 times before.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Just 2 times, but that's all right.
You'll like it better with those spinning teapots, buddy. Hey, Indy.
Dave.
What's up, Dave? You're mute. Mute.
Never mind. Not that important.
Anyway, Dave, can you elaborate a little bit
on, Dave?
On the on your position in collective revolution?
Yeah, what is that? I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's just Dave posted an interesting link that I want to know more about his perspective on.
Okay, he probably couldn't get it going there. So he did send me a link in regards to Buffett, Bezos, Damon appoint Dr. Atul Gawande as CEO of their new formed healthcare company. And this piece of shit used to work with, of course, Amazon, JP Morgan, Berkshire Hathaway. You know, that's the perfect resume you need for the 99%. Not, God, it just doesn't freaking stop, man.
Yeah, it's very suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, which direction is it going to go? To help the people with their problems and their sicknesses? Fuck no, that's a no-brainer. He's there to make a profit, for the spreadsheets, for people to make more money. That's the only reason why they hired that guy. The only reason. If you've got tons of money and you're a part of the elite, the only reason why you're picking up people these days, for decades now, who knows how long, it's just based on what their track record is. If your track record is, you can make me a shit ton of money, I'm going to hire you. And I think that goes with everything. But when it comes to the basic needs, that's why everybody keeps saying, especially in West Virginia, it needs to be single payer, universal health care, Medicare for all, needs to be a constitutional right. A constitutional right, because other countries out there have it. Maybe it's not fantastic, maybe it's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than the Affordable Care Act, the ACA, which if you have the ACA right now and you're living in California, your co-payments are insane. $80, $100. You want to go in and get this is your follow-up to the doctor after you've been sick, right? $100, $80, $90. It's insane. And then the premiums are just insane. It's this piece of shit Obama, right? Fucking Barack Obama creates this big, sweeps Dennis Kucinich under the rug with single player. Just totally just swept the rug right up from underneath them and left them in the gutter back in 2008, 9, and 10. And then they put out this big show that single payer is going to, that the ACA is going to be this great thing. This Obamacare is going to be amazing. It started off pretty good, but people didn't see down the road how bad it was going to be for so many people. Yes, it does bring more health care to people. That's great. It's something that's better, of course, but it's not what we really needed and what we really have to have or what we should have. So I'm just saying that was fucking bullshit. And people have talked about that left and right. I mean, how many times can we go over that? A couple thousand times. So in West Virginia, this is what I find very interesting about West Virginia is the amount of people that are actual millionaire or what is it? The 1%. Now, oh God, where's the statistic? 1% in West Virginia. Hang on. Mass concentration. Earners. It's right here. Okay. Oh, God damn it. Are you guys seeing this? Because I think net neutrality has totally screwed me up. Can somebody go to this link? Hang on. Because I'm trying to get into certain links and I can't get there. I have to get with AT&T for some reason to upgrade. I think I'm being net neutrality screwed. Unnet neutrality screwed. What is this? 1%. There's kind of a lot per cat in West Virginia. I don't know. Let me just grab this real quick. Do you make enough to be in West Virginia? 1% to be West Virginia, earners have to make 2. This is the statistic. In order to be the 1% in West Virginia, you have to make $243,000 per year. $243,000 per year.
I wonder what it is out in your state.
That's fucking like $4 million. It's it's crazy. I just can't get to this. I'm getting a block in my.
You got to be making that Santa Clara money.
Yeah, exactly. They're definitely making that out there, bro. That's like
that Mike Feinstein money.
I know, right? I don't know. Is that guy making a bunch of money? He's like could somebody try to open that? Wait, I'll put it to everybody and get those statistics. So what I'm saying is you don't have to be a bazillionaire to be in the 1% of West Virginia. And I think there's a lot of southern states that are in that same predicament. So what's the most craziest thing about all of this is the hills in West Virginia are very similar to the hills where I'm at. There's some cool houses, nice trees, nice bushes, nice area. But the thing is a house over here in this area is $800,000. $800,000 for a house. You know what I'm talking about, William. Now, in West Virginia, the same size house, I think it was like 120, 200,000. Maybe not even that. It's just crazy. What's really crazy? This is the craziest part of all this is it's just California. It's not. There's not. I mean, yeah, we got a beach, we got mountains, we got Disneyland, we got a few things, but I just don't get the fascination. West Virginia has just as much and just enough to do what you need to do to live, to survive. It's just. I just know that the jobs are scarce. I just know that we know what's going on in West Virginia. It's just there's just so much potential. That's the thing that trips me out about that state. The potential is off the hook. What you got there, Snort?
That's what you asked to put up, right?
Oh yeah, please. Yeah. So two for you. Can you go to the map? And let's open up that map. Can you make it bigger by any chance?
No. I could expand the screen.
Yeah, if you could, I'd appreciate it. Awesome.
Who's West Virginia's senators?
Okay, so I didn't just say. So to make the 1%, it's not 2 million. I was bragging, but still. So $438,000, you're in the 1%. That's a fucking shit ton of money. That's dual income or single income. You're making $43,800. There's a lot of people like that in California. Tons. Now, where's the least? Oh my God, I think it is. No, it's Mississippi. Right?
Arkansas.
No, Arkansas. Because there's Louisiana and there's Arkansas. Okay. $228,000. And you're the 1%. Fuck. That's insane. That's almost half of what it is in California. And the most is definitely New York? No. Massachusetts. It's Massachusetts. Nope, it's New Jersey.
Connecticut.
678,000. Shit. Connecticut. Why? I don't get it.
New Yorkers live there.
Oh, that's where the suburbs are, in a sense.
And then they take the train in.
That's where all the Wall Street people live in Connecticut. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Probably.
The one that I find surprising is North Dakota. $280? That's Idaho. Hold on. No, North Dakota is straight above Texas.
Straight above. 502K?
Yeah. In North Dakota.
And then south, okay.
I would have thought Arizona would have been 200K.
That's close. But why is that so much in North Dakota? Is there a reason why?
Oil, right? Aren't they an oil extraction state?
Oil, gold. I don't know what else. I have one cousin that just has a hunting farm up there. Just uses it for hunting.
Yeah, I saw a while back that North Dakota was paying people to move up there, same as Alaska and apparently now Vermont.
Hawaii is pretty low. Wow.
What's Hawaii? 279?
Yeah.
That is pretty low.
This is the clearest indicator, and I hear it from people over there all the time. There's a lot of people that have homes that have 2 or 3 families living in them. Some 4. It's just really tough out there.
Or the highest incidence of fires in Hawaii is from candles because the people have had their electricity shut off.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yep, and that happens here too. People use like kerosene heaters and stuff indoors because they don't have, central heating and stuff. So a lot of fires happen that way, or just substandard electrical work. That's another big one.
You know what this says to me is this says to me that there's a lot more people, I think, that can be influenced, or that can influence the parties, the two-party oligarchy. I mean, there's probably a lot more. I wonder how many people are actually making $438,000 dual income, right, in California.
I mean, that's the 1%. So you got to think the vast majority of people probably aren't anywhere close to that.
Oh yeah. But then it kind of makes the demographic bigger too. If you're
not even close.
I'd
say most people are making half of that or less.
Oh yeah.
Every bit of it.
Way less. I think it's just a bunch of people making this much and then boom, people dropping.
Right? Yeah, those few people really skewer it. It's like when you look at the people that live here, most of them are working part-time minimum wage jobs. But then you've got a few people out of our population, considering it's not even that big, 1.8 million. You got people like Jim Justice, who is a billionaire. You got these coal barons, and it totally skews the number.
And North Dakota has some wealthy people and not a lot of people to average it across.
Yeah, so it's per capita, it's not a bunch, like the population isn't that big, for sure.
No, I don't even think they really have enough people to warrant their congressman.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So that kind of makes sense when when Schumer said we want the middle class, or going after the higher middle class. They're going after these people and just below. So people that are maybe the 5%, or that are in the 10%, or the 15, or the 20%. They're going after those people, and there's probably more. Those are the people that can get out and drive anywhere to vote. Those are the people that can afford to take time off of work to go vote. Those are the people that, I think this is why they're doing what they're doing.
And I'd like to see the correlation between poverty levels and elections, like how many people vote versus how many people don't. And if you notice, it's like, the number of people that actually get out and vote keeps going down, but the poverty is rising. Like, I wonder, is there a correlation? And I bet if you looked at it, there is.
Also, I'd like to know that stat, and also the stat of people. If you're at the 80% or the 90%, how many of those people actually voting? Are there more people voting that are in the higher percentile? I mean, in the the lower percent.
Yeah, like the voting rates per class. What's the voting rates in the 1%? What's the voting rates?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, that's
that would be good to know
what that is.
I wish there was a way that.
Oh, let's pull it up.
Can you find? Oh my God, you can find that out.
Oh, I love stuff like this, like just raw data, like this.
This is how they gerrymander too. This is how they attack certain areas with their ads and their ground games and stuff. I mean, it's a tactful process, and there's scientists working on this, marketing gurus. So I'd like to know what that is. I mean, so people that are making $40,000 a year, how many of those people voted in a particular state?
I mean, it's a very select few compared to the vast majority of people that live in this country. It's only 25% that actually vote. That's a scary low number. But these are people that actually, religiously turn out.
I religiously do. A voting booth for me is where I go to do when I'm in there. I do a confession when I go in there. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned, and then I start voting. Okay, so there's
I want to see. I need to find a graph.
some good info though. So North Dakota, a lot of them were young.
Yeah, I was looking into this a while back, and it's like the states that have the lowest populations are the ones that turned red. And this is the Koch brother strategy, where you find these states that just don't have very many people in it, and you take it over, and then it's just a wave, and you just, you know, and then you start getting majority, and you start picking up steam, and then eventually, you know, you get states like West Virginia and Ohio, and you know, others that, you know, want to, you know, do this like right to work stuff. I mean, that's just, it's how it happens. They find these states that are vulnerable.
They have a process. I think where was it? Somebody did it, and I'm trying to find out if I remember correctly. It was Democracy Now! Roberto Gonzalez or something Gonzalez. And they were doing a thing on how they gerrymander and what they're going after and where they get all their information. They do use the census. The census is one of the best tools for them to target certain people and certain individuals. It's, you know, so they know what they're doing. And
I think Facebook is. People will dodge a census. Everybody's got a Facebook.
Yeah, a lot of people do dodge the census.
And plus, they get to know how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you like, what kind of apps you use. Man, that's like real life Westworld stuff right there.
Well, those Russian trolls, you know, the 13 of them that were going after us compared to the hundreds, possibly thousands that the DCC has. I'd be looking out for the Russians.
Yeah. They're so smart, yet so stupid at the same time.
Yes, and so small in numbers. It's like, that was the stupidest fucking argument I've ever heard. And then here's what's really interesting, is they showed up. They showed up, and Fuller fucking didn't do anything. Left. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
The supposed Russian trolls actually responded and saying they're coming out, and he kept dodging them. No, that's not a good time. No, I can't do it then. I gotta post this somewhere.
I like what Zox Ovog said in chat. They're impoverishing the country to control it, and that's really the best,
perfect,
and most brutal, you know, force that we have that just really just beats people and you know, puts them in this mold that they can control, for sure. Poverty, number one.
I was just having this conversation with somebody, you know, like, it's a Trump supporter that I have as a friend from high school. But anyway, you know, she kept saying this, and she actually came to realize what I was saying was true, how impoverishing the country does leave it open for the most affluent to control it, to keep it tamed. So yeah, that's just great. You know, like, Zox put that in a very good way. I like that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so, like, I don't know. That's my trigger point is like the propaganda mental games that they play with people, because I mean, generally when you have a human being and you don't try to force them into this mold, people will do the right thing. I think they do help their neighbors. They're inquisitive. We're curious beings. We actually thirst for knowledge. We thirst to be better. But something has gone wrong, because now, before we have a chance to even formulate those thoughts, we have mainstream media and our government and religion and all these different factions that work on us at such a young age to manipulate our minds. Our minds are our greatest resources that we have right now, because we don't have money. We don't have these things that the rich, elite have. So the only thing that's going to get us out of this is our minds. And this is how they attack us, through poverty, because poverty hits it in so many different ways. Not only do you have to use your time and your energy to focus on bullshit things like, how am I going to feed my kids? But at the same time, they keep you so busy trying to find a job, or just, these are the things that, like, constantly, we saw that in the video earlier. These people, they don't have time to think about a universal basic income or look into that, because they're so busy trying to figure out, how do I live today? And this is the game that they play with us. They take people and then we wonder why there's school shootings and stuff. Maybe if we didn't, if we let humans just be humans instead of machines, maybe we'd have a little bit more. Maybe, we wouldn't want to kill each other so much and fight each other, but that's why poverty is such. I'm so glad that the Poor Person's March is making a comeback, because that's exactly what's going to unite all of us. That's why I named my channel Redneck Economics. It comes down to that's what's ruling everything. That's what, nothing else is a factor when it comes to these rich people. It all comes down to the money. So if that's how we need to start thinking. That's how you connect to people. That's how you get votes. You tell them how you're going to make their life better, And a lot of times that comes down to money. I don't know. I just sorry, I didn't mean to get off. I got all.
No, that was a great rant. That was a total awesome rant. And here's the thing: is you guys do this all the time. It drives me crazy. I don't know. I'm just saying. You do know. You guys, I hear it all the time. You guys are so knowledgeable. You have so much information because we're following it. You're following it. You're seeing where things are going. You're listening to the right people. You're going in the right direction. You know when to pick and choose the person that you're going with. The other day, H.A. Goodman says, you know what? I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm like, oh my God. Just, the guy's fucking losing it. But the other thing is you're building up this knowledge. You're paying attention. A lot of us are paying attention. And that's what's fucking awesome. It's good stuff. It just comes out naturally, but you do know. William knows, Chad knows, Stevie knows, Snork, you kind of know, but everybody knows. I'm kidding, Snork. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's why I try to get across to people. Just people around here, because they're just that they don't see the importance of learning this stuff, of paying attention to it. It's like their lives are already it's filled with so much stress and garbage anyway. Like and I want to add on top of it with all this, like the world is ending. We need you to march. I know you haven't slept in 3 days because you've been working and taking care of the kids, but you mind showing up to this march?
Yeah. By the way, everybody, give it up for Stevie for being here. She's been through a lot, and she's here putting on a show. Thank you very much.
But that's the thing. Like, we need to start thinking more long term. We keep getting stuck in these short term cycles of voting for the lesser evil, or just taking a lesser, a pay cut just so I can have a job, and we just keep asking for less and less. And surprise, surprise, that's what we're getting.
Yeah. Hey, it's just we're working on it. I'm working on it. Jesse and Jill, my Chad, Gary. We've got a few new people. I'm just saying it'll bring some great attention to a party that I think the rest of the country needs to catch up with. Stevie's, assisting when she can. It's appreciative. Snork's kind of with us, which is fantastic. And Snork, you are a plethora of knowledge, and I'm jealous most of the time you start talking. Okay, so I'm going to share this about Mueller. This is really funny. So I was just talking about the trolls, right, and the information with the trolls. So here we go. Indicted Russians actually show up in court. Mueller scrambles. It's just like, what? No, it's just I can't make it this day. This is not going to happen. And they're just like This is just nuts. And they swept it under the rug. Nobody's talking about it. I don't hear Rachel Maddow talking about this. Didn't happen. And this happened like a week ago. This happened, no, a few days ago, whatever. But the thing is by Zero Hedge, just coming out. I mean, they're ready to say, "What do you got, bro? Come after us," because you're full of shit. You know what I mean? And it's just bullshit lies. And this is part of the machine. This is, oh man, this is, and this is why West Virginia is the way West Virginia is. This is the reason why California is the way California is. This is the reason why Michigan is the way Michigan is. Ohio is the way Ohio is. Florida, and there's so many states in this country that are the way they are. And you all know it's because of the two-party oligarchy, and everybody says it. And it's time. We don't have time. We've been talking about this over and over again. We do not have the time to waste on the crazies that are currently in office right now. We do not have that kind of time. If we do not make drastic changes and turns to the point to where we're actually, I mean, let's see an executive order making sure that solar has initiatives. Let's see an executive order implementing single payer. Let's have an executive order making sure that your kid can go to college affordably and you have pre-K care for your kid. Just make an executive order that the 1% needs to pay their fair share of taxes and then some. Let's stop all the loopholes and subsidies to the big oil and big pharma and all these large corporations out there. Let's make an executive order that you can't move money to the Cayman Islands, South Africa, Indonesia. Let's make an executive order in all the right directions. But every time these executive orders come out, it's not for you. It's not for us.
And James, it's like, and that's what I keep trying to tell people who keep getting on the we're gonna rage on you thing, like he who shall not be named, did to me. He blocked me, but anyway, which is, I guess, is a good thing. I don't know, but there is no time. It's quite possibly already too late to fight against climate change. It's a possibility. It's too late.
Yeah. I mean, but what else are we gonna do?
And it's
you can't just lay down and die. You just gotta keep going.
The fact is, I don't want people on the party to be like begging Jesse to run, but it wouldn't hurt to have a little excitement about the fact that he's extending his helping hand.
Yeah. And we've already we've gone over some of the. And by the way, tomorrow night, you guys, I'm going to continue on the Jesse and Jill. I'm calling it the Jesse and Jill project from now on. It used to be the Jesse and Jill ? Hey, we're with Jesse and Jill. It's a project for me. It's something that I truly believe will make great sense. It's probably our best option for the Green Party. If you don't get it and you don't understand, and maybe you have some problems with it, you're welcome to come on to the show. Not to venture away from our topic. Are we still on West Virginia? Because I was getting ready to get back to it. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to get.
But I don't mind getting a little sidetracked. I know West Virginia is a little heavy, but so.
I got to change my shirt. I'll be right back. It's all sweaty.
Oh, I have a couple of videos. Oh, this is one I wanted to share with y'all. This was one of Paula Jean, and I've got my Paula Jean shirt on. This was one of her mentors, and he heavily impacted her. I mean, this dude is smart as a whip, very compassionate, and just makes sense. So I'm going to play this little video. Hold on, let me find it. There it is. Okay.
She says, "You cheat on me?" I said, "Sure I do." "Do I know her?" "Sure you do." "Is she pretty?" "Most beautiful woman you ever seen." "What's her name?" she says. I said, "Cape Ford Mountain. Prettiest lady I ever met." No. You see right here, you see this by my tennis shoe? That's coal, you know. So, you know, they say I got 38, 39 seams of coal here. They also say this land's worth about $650 million to the industry. For myself, I seem to think that, I don't seem to think, I know there's not enough money that's been printed or made that can buy this place. You know, some things money shouldn't be able to buy. I mean, from 86 to 92, I've seen things that I never dreamed I'd ever see as an adult. You can be sitting in your cabin, and the dishes start shaking. The dishes start shaking just like that. No apparent reason, no noise, no apparent reason. And then all of a sudden, the concussion, all of a sudden the noise and the, you know, everything shakes. Didn't know about what it was, you know, didn't know that it was legal. Who does that? And that's how come I took and turned my place into a land trust in '92.
I mean, it's awful. I said, here we are, one little green spot, and all around us tore up. And they would have had this if it hadn't been for Larry.
If it hadn't been for us, they would have had this. It's the Grand Theater so people can actually see what it looks like when they come in. You're looking at the real thing. You know, I've brought Native Americans here from Black Mesa, Arizona. They come here and they stand out and cry because of what they see. Many people cry because of what they see. Hell, I cried myself to sleep many a night thinking, what could I have done better that day? And then what can I do different tomorrow to make a difference? You want to know what the real truth is about it for me? I just can't get used to it. Truth is, the heroes of my heroes are the people who don't get used to this. The one that gets used to it is the one that won't do anything about it. I just pray to God I got a lot of heroes.
Yep. A lot of good people here. They just don't ever show them. You won't find him on CNN. You know.
Well, Gary's been on CNN. I love Gary. I wish he would come on, but I guess he's asleep. He's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I just think it's great. Yeah, to have Gary with us. I just wish he didn't live in New Jersey. Actually, no. I wish the Earth was flat, so he didn't have time zones. Snork probably saw a flaw in my logic.
I don't want to have time zones.
Huh?
I think we should all be on one time.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, I didn't want to get off topic. You know, when somebody sends me a message, I shouldn't have to think, are they thinking Eastern time or Western time? You know, when a meeting includes people from 6 or 7 different time zones, you really start hating the system of having time zones.
So, yeah, that's just, it's just the propaganda against, you know, people all over. It's just crazy. You know, the Democrats, they attack the poor white people, and then the Republicans attack the poor black and brown people, you know, those impoverished. And that's how they keep, you know, everyone fighting about petty things.
A couple more videos, and then probably around 1, I'll call it a night. So.
Okay.
I got work in the morning.
Hi, I'm Leslie Nielsen. If you've ever lived in or visited the state of West Virginia, you'll understand how a saying like that can come about. For almost 250 years, the state has been a constant source of unspoiled natural beauty and important industrial innovation. Well, let's just talk about vacations for a moment. If you and your family are looking for a welcome change, a get back to the basics kind of escape, you couldn't do any better than West Virginia. In fact, in West Virginia, you'll find historical reenactments like the one at Blennerhassett Island and Harper's Ferry. You'll also find arts and crafts fairs, horseback riding, water skiing, sailing, snow skiing, fishing, whitewater rafting. And all of these aren't wrapped up in some theme park, mind you. This is throughout the whole state. From border to border, West Virginia is a veritable playground of untouched beauty and year-round activity. And it's little wonder why over 75% of the people who vacation here are repeat visitors. To put it simply, when it comes to vacations, West Virginia has a style all its own. Now, whether you come here for the lakes, the forests, the rivers, the uncluttered lifestyle, the people, the unbridled business opportunities, this is your invitation. Come. West Virginia's been part of this country before it was even a country. Formidable spirit. The kind of spirit that inspired Pearl S. Buck to write and Chuck Yeager to fly and Mary Lou Retton to go for the gold again and again. America's a proud and beautiful and spirited country, and the best parts of her are alive and well in West Virginia.
Yeah, I stumbled across that one like not too long ago, and I was like, what? It just seems like so out of left field. Oh shit. I always forget to turn the volume. Yeah. Anyway. So it's another one. Oh, here's one of the Stern Wheel Regatta. This one's pretty good. We used to have this every year, and they would throw down for it. We used to get all kinds of musicians, people, arts and crafts, food vendors, everybody. I mean, everybody would turn out for the Stern Wheel Regatta. Everybody. I mean, I'll show you some of the footage here. But we don't even have, it's just, you know, fewer and fewer people started showing up, and then they weren't putting the money into it like they used to. Like they used to pay for like legit bands and stuff, and like they quit doing that, and then people stopped going, and then they got rid of it. But this was so much fun to go to. I mean, you have like the river would be lined with boats, all kinds.
Bridge.
I love it. Give me more of it.
Hey, how are y'all?
No, I can't.
Sit together.
I know, that's, I'm afraid I found that cat.
See, like the bridge just sliding. All right. You know what's weird about that is, like, you see the scenery, and usually, you know, when you look at stuff, you know, that far back, you can see like, oh wow, you know, it doesn't look anything like that today. Generally, the landscape in that video is pretty much what it still looks like today. Like the buildings, the sidewalk, everything, just about the same. Anyway, I guess that's everything. Unless y'all got anything you want to add to it or talk about, or.
Well, I just wanted to bring this one funny thing up before we get off. But so so Tony Troxy's Refuge said, agree with not having time zones, Snork. We'd all get used to it pretty quick. And then the person also said, also, let's only have one language. And then I said, let's just have one big happy new world order, winking face. And I just think that's just the perfect troll.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that y'all made it on. I don't know where, I guess James is, I don't know, who knows. But anyway, I'm glad y'all came on here, and especially Stork for coming on and talking about the water project and sharing the, you know, water molecule video with us, and very informative as always. So, yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. Happy West Virginia Day to everybody. 155 years of colonization going strong.
Love
all right,
y'all.
catch y'all next time.
Aloha. What's going on?